Boom! The ancient, heavy gates of the moon temple burst open under the impact of this terrifying aura. Shards of silvery, white divine stones sprayed in all directions. A tall, sacred figure stepped slowly out from the deep shadows of the temple. 3 pairs of silvery, blue light, wings unfurled behind it. With every beat, fine moonlight drifted down like feathers. Its form was human, yet not human. Its skin was translucent, milky, white, as if forged from purest moonlight. At the center of its forehead, a crescent-shaped sapphire glowed with soft yet unassailable divine radiance. Lunar power surged so densely around it that it condensed into tangible silvery mist. Wherever it stepped, the silvery grass blades on the ground bowed low, as if paying homage to their deity. Ding! Dungeon boss, Selene, Apostle of the Moon, has awakened. Boss rank, peak legendary boss level, 120 warning. This entity's power far exceeds the dungeon's standard difficulty. Proceed with extreme caution. 3 cold system notifications rang simultaneously in the minds of Sheerith and Aurelia. Both of their pupils narrowed slightly. Level 120. That number pressed heavily upon them. After all, regardless of rank, each subsequent level grew exponentially harder to attain. Most ordinary players hovered between levels 5 and 10. Even the 2 of them, having fought their way to the dungeon's deepest reaches, had only just scraped level 25. And this boss stood at level 120, nearly 100 levels above them. Worse still, it was a peak, ranked legendary entity. The combined might of such rank and level far outstripped ordinary epic, ranked foes. No wonder Sheerith had sensed something amiss beforehand. This was no boss meant for players at their current stage. Wretched intruders. Selene, Apostle of the Moon, spoke. Its voice was cold as age, old ice, like moonlight spilling across frozen surfaces, steeped in lofty indifference. Those who disturb my god's slumber are sentenced to death. No extra words. It simply pronounced the fate of the trespassers. In its eyes, these 2 heroines who had cut through hordes of foes were no different from the trivial monsters it had crushed earlier. Spare us your boasts. Sheerith stepped forward. Golden vertical pupils glinted with cold resolve. Boom! Dragon might erupted from her in a tidal wave of golden energy, clashing head on against the lunar aura emanating from the Moon Apostle. Hum! The air groaned under the strain. Countless fissures snaked across the ground between them. Sheerith's battle robes whipped in the wind. Her dragon wings spread half open. She stood like a drawn blade, sharp and unyielding. She struck first, sending a clear message to this overconfident boss. This was no place for its arrogance. Oh, a flicker of surprise crossed the Moon Apostle's eyes. Dragonkin essence? Interesting. But that is all you amount to. The words had barely faded when it lifted its hand. Look out. Aurelia's expression sharpened. Without hesitation, she drew her great bow fully taut. Brilliant silver light coalesced on the bowstring. Under the Amplify All Spells effect, the piercing arrow's power doubled. Whoosh! A shrill tearing sound split the air. The arrow streaked forth like silver lightning, aimed straight for the Apostle's forehead. It flew so fast, it left a clear vacuum trail in its wake. Yet against this shot capable of felling ordinary legendary bosses with one hit, the Moon Apostle merely waved a hand. Flish! A translucent silver moon blade flicked from its fingertips, swifter still than the arrow. Crash! They collided mid-air. The piercing arrow did not hold for even a second before shattering into fragments. The moon blade kept its momentum, whistling past Aurelia's ear and slicing a giant silver moon tree dozens of meters behind her clean through at the base. The cut surface was perfectly smooth. Aurelia's face turned utterly grave. All units, volley fire. She gave the order without delay. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. 50 Gale archers drew their bows at once. In the next instant, 50 piercing arrows, boosted by Amplify All Spells and Warlord's dual buffs, thundered forward like a hailstorm, blanketing the Moon Apostle. This single volley could riddle a small mountain. But just as the arrows were about to strike, a faint silvery barrier bloomed around its body. Moonlight barrier. Clink, 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 clink. Dense ringing sounds merged into one continuous clamor. Every arrow bounced off the barrier, stirring only faint ripples. None managed to pierce its surface. Damage numbers floated upward. Uniform -1, -1, -1. No damage penetration. The combined volley of 50 Gale archers could not even scratch its shield. Children of the Moon, would you raise blades against me? The Moon Apostle's gaze fell on Aurelia, its tone laced with undisguised mockery. It lifted its hand once more. This time, not one moon blade, but hundreds upon hundreds materialized. Moonblade Tempest. As the cold command fell, countless translucent silver moon blades swirled around it, then surged outward in a raging storm. The area of effect spanned a full 100-meter radius. Dragon-scale barrier. Sheerith's features hardened. She waved her palm, and a pale, gold dragon-scale barrier unfurled, shielding everyone within. Clang, 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 clang. An endless cascade of impacts hammered against the shield. The dragon-scale barrier shuddered violently beneath the tempest of slashing moon blades. Its light flickered bright and dim. Sheerith's brows drew tight. She could feel that her proud dragon-scale barrier was sprouting fine cracks under the assault. Pressure. For the first time since arriving in this world, she felt genuine pressure in open combat. Some skill. The Moon Apostle watched the straining barrier and spoke coolly. Yet it is still insufficient. Brighter moonlight ignited once more at its fingertips. But right as it prepared to unleash another attack, Sheerith vanished from her spot. Her dragon wings beat. She broke the sound barrier, surging forward wreathed in golden dragon flame, throwing a straight punch toward the Moon Apostle's face. Dragon flame detonation. Sacred golden fire blazed around her fist, warping the surrounding air with searing heat. Faced with the blow at point-blank range, the Moon Apostle's expression shifted for the very first time. It hastily raised an arm, thickening its moonlight barrier. Boom! Golden fire and silver moonlight collided catastrophically. Shockwaves rolled outward in all directions, snapping silver moon trees in half and carving a massive crater dozens of meters wide into the ground. Sheerith slid backward more than 10 meters from the recoil, stabilizing herself with her dragon wings. The Moon Apostle also stepped back 3 paces. A crack had appeared on its moonlight barrier, yet rich moonlight swarmed over it. The fissure mended before their eyes. Within mere seconds, the barrier was whole again. Even its singed robe fabric was restored to flawless condition. Moonlight heal. Sheerith's gaze turned grim. She could land blows, yet the foe healed instantly, and the regeneration speed was absurdly fast. That stung. The Moon Apostle rotated its wrist. It now regarded Sheerith with genuine focus. It seems I must take this seriously. It slowly raised both hands above its head. The crescent gem on its forehead burst forth with unprecedented radiance. Wrath of the Moon Goddess. The 4 words echoed. Boom! The entire sky turned silver in an instant. Boundless lunar power poured from its body, flooding every corner of the battlefield. A heavy weight settled over every combatant, as though a mountain pressed down upon their shoulders. Movement speed dropped sharply. Meanwhile, pervasive moonlight pricked into their bodies like fine silver needles. -321. -298. -356. Damage numbers floated above every head. Sustained damage, plus a slow debuff. A domain, type ultimate ability. Not good. Aurelia paled and immediately pulled the Gale archers back to create distance. Arrow Storm. She shouted, drawing her bow repeatedly. Thanks to amplify all spells, Arrow Storm's radius and duration doubled. Countless arrows poured down like torrential rain, blanketing the zone where the Moon Apostle hovered. Clink, 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 clink. Still, the moonlight barrier held firm. This time the damage was no longer only -1. Numbers of 100 or so floated up. But Moonlight Heal kept activating. Before the barrier could be breached, all damage was undone. The foe's health even climbed higher. It is futile. The Moon Apostle hung mid-air, its 3 pairs of light, wings beating slowly like a lofty deity. Within my moon god domain, your strength is continuously weakened. I am undying. All your resistance amounts to nothing but desperate struggle. Sheerith said nothing. Her dragon wings beat, and she charged in once more. The two clashed furiously amid the silver domain. Golden dragon, flame, and silver moonlight exploded against one another time and again. Sheerith's fists, wreathed in world, burning sacred flame, shook the moonlight barrier with every strike. Her dragon, claws shredded incoming moon, blades, her tail cracking the air with every sweep. Yet no matter how much damage she dealt, Moonlight Heal restored the Moon Apostle to peak condition in moments. The battle ground into a grueling stalemate. Sheerith's breathing grew labored. Even for her, stamina and mana drained fast under such ferocious combat. By contrast, the Moon Apostle showed no sign of fatigue. Lunar power flowed endlessly, its health bar perpetually full. This won't work. Sheerith assessed rapidly amid combat. Conventional attacks could not wear it down. Its regeneration was far too overpowered. They needed to seize an opening and unleash one burst capable of killing it outright. Otherwise, they would be worn down first. At that moment, Linya's calm voice reached her through their soul. Link. Shirith, I have observed the fight. Its lunar power is not limitless. Every time Moonlight Heal triggers, its lunar glow dims slightly. The recovery is so swift you failed to notice. Do not trade blows to wear it down. Await my command. On my signal, activate your dragon form, unleash every skill, and finish it in one overwhelming burst. Aurelia, locate its weak point. That crescent gem set into its forehead is its core. The instant Shirith shatters the barrier, strike it with your piercing arrow. Linya's tone stayed steady, unshaken. Through the soul, Link he watched every detail unfold. The Moon Apostle was mighty, yet not invincible. Strike at its flaw, and it could be slain. Yes, my liege. Both heroines answered in their minds. Their frazzled resolve steadied at once. With their lord watching over them, no battle was unwinnable. The fight raged onward. Shirith abandoned raw damage output and adjusted her tactics. She maneuvered constantly, hammering the moonlight barrier with dragon flame detonation to deplete its stored energy. She bided her time for the perfect opening. Aurelia halted her wasteful area of effect barges. She slowly knocked her bowstring, gathering the brightest silver light, taking careful aim at the crescent gem embedded in the Moon Apostle's forehead. Seconds ticked by. The Moon Apostle sensed that something was wrong. The dragon woman had shifted tactics, circling and harrying it with dragon flame rather than trading full force blows. The elven archer had ceased firing, building toward some deadly attack. A sense of foreboding stirred within it. What are you waiting for? The Moon Apostle roared, holding nothing back. Thicker moon, blades sliced toward Shirith, intent on eliminating its greatest threat first. But the instant it focused all its attention on Shirith, Lin Ye's voice echoed in both heroines' minds. Now, boom! Shirith's power erupted without restraint. A clear, majestic dragon's cry reverberated across the entire Silver Moon secret realm. Roar! A pillar of golden light shot skyward, tearing a massive hole through the silver lunar domain shrouding the area. Her previously translucent dragon wings swelled into enormous, fully scaled gilded appendages spanning over 10 meters. Fine golden dragon scales crept up her neck, covering half her face. Her pupils turned to icy golden vertical slits, and two delicate small dragon horns sprouted from her brow. Dragon form activated. Ding! Shirith has activated dragon form. All attributes increased by 80%. Stacked upon Warlord's 100% all attribute boost, plus amplify all spells doubling skill effectiveness. Shirith's combat power rocketed to terrifying heights. Impossible. The Moon Apostle's face twisted in true alarm. It could feel her power surging several-fold, bringing the cold touch of death. Die! Shirith uttered one cold word. Her dragon wings beat, and she vanished. In the blink of an eye she stood before the Moon Apostle. She clasped her hands together. Dragon, language magic, dragon flame detonation, sacred flame mastery. Both abilities ignited, their power doubled further by amplify all spells. Boom! Tidal waves of holy golden dragon flame burst forth from her palms, engulfing the Moon Apostle in an ocean of fire. Sacred dragon flame inherently purges all unholy forces. Against this searing blaze, the moonlight barrier melted like snow in boiling water, dissipating visibly. The Moon Apostle screamed in agony. Lunar energy evaporated from its burning body. Moonlight Heal flared repeatedly, yet restoration could no longer offset the incoming damage. No, this cannot be. Panic seized the Moon Apostle. It felt its power draining away. For the first time, death loomed over it. Its 3 pairs of light wings beat frantically as it tried to break away and flee. Yet the moment it attempted to move, Aurelia, who had been holding her aim for so long, loosed the drawn bowstring. Piercing arrow. Whoosh. This shot channeled every last ounce of her current strength. The silver projectile flew as a streak of light, piercing through roiling flames and striking true against the crescent gem on the Moon Apostle's forehead. Crack! A sharp shattering sound rang out. The crescent gem storing its lunar power was blown to fragments. Weak point critical hit. Minus 99,999. A horrendous damage number floated above the Moon Apostle's head. Its aura plummeted instantly. Its 3 pairs of light wings dimmed completely, and lunar power dissolved all around it. Its eyes widened in utter disbelief. As an apostle serving the moon god, it had never imagined it would fall to 2 intruders. No, my god. It stretched out a hand in desperate longing. Shirith met its gaze with cold indifference. It ends here. Sheerith drew in a deep breath, channeling every drop of her form dragon, power for one final release. Sacred Flame Dragon Breath. Roar. A torrent of golden breath surged forth like a falling galaxy, carrying apocalyptic destructive force, slamming straight into the Moon Apostle. This strike held the full might of her dragon transformation. Holy golden fire swallowed its entire frame. Oh! The shrill scream lasted but a single second before cutting off. Its form dissolved within the sacred flames and finally exploded, scattering into countless silver motes that faded into the air. Ding! Congratulations! Your heroes Sheerith and Irelia have slain peak legendary boss, Selene, Apostle of the Moon. Server, first kill achieved. The instant the system notice appeared, a cold, grand announcement boomed, audible to every player across the entire server. Server, wide announcement. Player **** has achieved the first kill of peak legendary dungeon boss Selene, Apostle of the Moon. Reward, epic, rank treasure chest ×1. Server, wide announcement. Player **** has achieved the first kill of peak legendary dungeon boss Selene, Apostle of the Moon. Reward, epic, rank treasure chest ×1. Server, wide announcement. Player **** has achieved the first kill of peak legendary dungeon boss Selene, Apostle of the Moon. Reward, epic, rank treasure chest ×1. 3 repeated announcements blazed in blood, red text across every player's sight. Server 009 fell into total, stunned silence. 3 seconds later, the world chat channel erupted into chaos. Am I hallucinating again? Epic, rank treasure chest? First kill on a peak, legendary boss? It's only the second day after launch, man. Am I seeing this right? A level 120 boss? I'm only level 8. Did this top rank player level up on a rocket? The anonymous powerhouse. It's that anonymous powerhouse again. What kind of monster is he? Yesterday he got the first kill on a legendary boss, and today he's taken down a peak, legendary one? Epic, rank rewards. I haven't even gathered a full set of golden gear, yet he's already getting epic, rank loot? I'm numb, truly numb. From now on, nothing this guy does will surprise me anymore. Has anyone counted how many times this powerhouse has popped up in the whole server announcements? Other players are just trying to survive the game, but this powerhouse is speed, running dungeons, isn't he? All I want to know right now is who this powerhouse is. I want to cling to his coattails. Don't get your hopes up. He couldn't care less about showing his ID. Messages in the world chat scrolled by so fast they were barely legible. Every player was utterly stunned by the sudden announcement. They had already thought yesterday's first kill on a legendary boss was absurd. But today he had straight up slain a peak, legendary boss and claimed epic, rank rewards. His progress had completely blown past everything they could comprehend. Many players even began to wonder if they were even playing the same game as this anonymous powerhouse. Meanwhile, deep within the Silver Moon's secret realm, Selithis had dispelled her semi-dragon form. She panted softly, fine beads of sweat dotting her forehead. The burst of power a moment ago had nearly drained every last trace of strength inside her. Yet her eyes burned with astonishing brightness. This battle had been utterly exhilarating. Aurelia stowed her longbow and stepped to her side. Her gaze fell on the mountain of items scattered across the ground, and a flicker of delight crossed her eyes. Where the moon god apostle had fallen lay piles of gear and materials shimmering in every hue of light. Most eye-catching of all were 2 pieces of equipment glowing with vivid purple radiance. Epic rank. 2 full pieces of epic rank gear. Beside the gear lay heaps of silvery, diamond-shaped crystals. Moonlight crystals, special material condensed from the moon god apostle's own power. On top of that were mountains of gold coins and several glowing orbs brimming with rich experience energy. Dead center among all the loot rested a card bathed in soft moonlight. Printed upon it was the pattern of a crescent moon. Even merely gazing at it filled one with gentle, warm energy. An S-rank territory trait card. Moon God's Blessing. We've hit the jackpot. Through their soul link, Lin Yi saw the mountain of drops, and the corners of his mouth tugged upward. This haul was absolutely massive. Equipping Selithis and Aurelia with these 2 epic rank pieces would push their combat strength to new heights. Moonlight crystals were top-tier enchantment material, perfect for imbuing weapons with moonlight damage. Most important of all was this S-rank trait card. Though not comparable to his Warlord and Arcane Infusion traits, it was still an exceptionally valuable treasure. Massive experience orbs surged into the 2 heroes. Ding. Selithis has gained a huge amount of experience. Level increased to 40. Ding. Aurelia has gained a huge amount of experience. Level increased to 41. Two system notifications rang out one after another. Aura burst forth from the two heroines as they broke straight through level 40. Their combat power soared dramatically. Clear the battlefield. Lin Yi gave the order. Yes, my liege. Selithis and Aurelia moved at once, leading the Gale Archers and Holy Flame Dragon Guards to scour the entire Moon God Temple. There were still several unopened chests inside the temple, along with plenty of materials and resources hoarded by the Moon God Apostle. They took everything they could get their hands on, leaving nothing behind. Even the moon gemstones embedded in the temple walls were pried loose by Selithis and stowed away. Nothing went to waste. More than 10 minutes later, the Moon God Temple had been stripped completely bare, down to nearly pulling up the floor tiles. My liege, the battlefield has been fully secured. Selithis reported through the soul link. Lin Yi nodded. Return. You've all worked hard. Go back to the territory and rest well. As you command. Shortly afterward, the two heroines led their troops back to the territory. Lin Yi stood at the gates of the Lord's manor and watched them return victorious, nodding in satisfaction. Well done. That was an outstanding battle. It is all thanks to your command, my liege. Selithis bowed respectfully. Aurelia nodded in agreement, her elven ears twitching slightly, plainly in high spirits. Lin Yi smiled and brought forth all the spoils from the dungeon. First, he picked up the Moon God's Blessing trait card. Territory trait, Moon God's Blessing rank. S-Rank effect. All friendly units gain 100% boost to all attributes during nighttime, plus passive self-recovery empowered by moonlight. Lin Yi nodded slightly. Truly an excellent trait. While not as powerful as the SS-Rank Arcane Infusion, nor Warlord's round-the-clock full attribute doubling. The nighttime full attribute doubling meant his troops would effectively gain another Warlord-style buff after dark. Stacked with his 4 existing traits, their nighttime combat power would climb to terrifying, unimaginable heights. Coupled with the passive self-recovery, their sustained combat capacity would improve drastically as well. Not bad at all. Without hesitation, he activated the card. Soft moonlight streamed out of the card and merged into the void above the territory. Warm energy washed over every corner of the land. Though it was daytime and the effect had not yet triggered, Lin Yi could feel the territory now blessed by lunar power. Having dealt with the trait card, Lin Yi turned his attention to the 2 epic rank pieces of equipment, as well as the epic rank treasure chest rewarded for the full server first kill. The next moment, with a thought, he opened the chest directly. Boom. Thick, tangible purple gold radiance shot skyward without warning from within the chest. Purple gold divine light pierced the clouds, even overpowering the midday sun. The sky above the entire territory was dyed brilliant purple gold in an instant. The silver moon elf world tree, swaying gently in the territory's center, was stirred by this surging epic-grade energy. Countless silver-blue leaves on its canopy lit up all at once. A soft yet endless pillar of silver-blue moonlight erupted from the treetop, surging straight toward the purple-gold beam in the sky. Meanwhile, over on the western side of the territory, the pure white sanctuary, Compassion of the Holy Angels, blazed with dazzling holy white light. Another equally massive pillar of white light burst forth from its dome, converging toward the purple-gold beam high above. 3 vastly different, yet equally immense pillars of energy collided hundreds of meters above the territory. Purple-gold epic power, silver-blue moonlight, and pure white sacred radiance twined and wove together, forming a sprawling, dazzling curtain of energy stretching for miles across the sky. Ancient runes flickered across the curtain, emanating heart-stopping, overwhelming pressure. Even the clouds drifting high overhead were stained purple and gold, the hues lingering long afterward. The gray dwarves hauling ironwood in the lumber camp were the first to notice the portent. They dropped their tools and stared upward in stunned disbelief. Pickaxes and timber clattered onto the ground, unnoticed. Silver moon elves who had just finished tending the herb garden east of the world tree and were sowing evening primrose also froze mid-motion. Their pointed ears trembled, emerald eyes wide with awe as they gazed toward the Lord's manor. Gale archers polishing their bows on the training ground rose as one, tightening their grips on their weapons. They could distinctly feel the epic-grade pressure emanating from the territory's core, making their elven blood tremble in their veins. The 10 holy flame dragon guards meditating beside their altar snapped open their golden eyes. They stood in unison, half spreading their dragon wings and facing the Lord's manor, solemn in every line of their draconic features. Every unit, worker and warrior alike, felt the weight of that epic-grade aura. They set aside their tasks and bowed deep toward the Lord's manor. It was reverence rooted deep in their souls, for their liege and the mighty power he had obtained. Even the white steed that had been basking and swishing its tail before the manor gates dropped to all fours, tucking its head into the grass, too frightened to stir. Lin Yi stood on the manor steps, wrapped in purple-gold radiance, his robes fluttering in surging energy currents. He narrowed his eyes, drinking in the boiling energy filling the air, a slow smile spreading across his face. Quite a spectacle, truly worthy of an epic rank first kill treasure chest. Ding! Epic rank first kill treasure chest opened successfully. The familiar system notification echoed inside his mind. The roiling energy overhead began to subside. The three intersecting light pillars faded, dissolving into countless motes of light that drifted down like rain across the land. Where the light touched the soil, it sank into the earth. Lin Yi could clearly sense energy density across the territory rising. Even the world tree's leaves glistened more brightly than before. When the light faded completely, the first item materialized out of the void left by the open chest. It was a building blueprint half a man's height. Heavy and purple gold, its edges carved with fine patterns of war drums and blades. Every etching seemed alive, faint sounds of clashing armies drifting off the parchment. Merely looking at it filled Lin Ye's ears with the blare of charging war horns. Epic rank building blueprint, war altar. Lin Ye's eyes lit up. A core war-oriented building. He wasted no time and pulled up its stat panel. Lines of purple-tinged text unfolded before him. Building blueprint, war altar rank, epic rank core war building. Construction requirements: 10 million wood, 5 million stone, 3 million fine iron, 8 million gold coins. Core effect 1, war sacrifice. Before battle, sacrifice any amount of resources to grant a temporary war buff to all troops. Maximum sacrifice of 10 million gold coins to boost all attributes of every combat unit in the territory by 200%. Last 2 hours. 24-hour cooldown. Core effect 2. Accumulated military soul. Whenever combat units of the territory defeat enemies, military soul value accumulates automatically. Military soul grants permanent increases to base attributes. A single unit may gain up to 50% permanent all-attribute bonus. Core effect 3. Hero's Trial. Once every 7 days, unlock the Hero's Trial. Heroes under your command may enter a trial realm to fight illusory foes. Upon clearing the trial, they obtain exclusive epic rank skills. Legendary rank heroes have a 30% chance to break through to epic rank. Reading through each stat, Lin Yi could not help but laugh out loud. This was incredible. This building was practically tailor-made for the coming first monster tide. With war sacrifice, when the first monster tide arrived, he would not even need to wait for nighttime to trigger Moon God's blessing. In broad daylight, he could sacrifice 10 million gold coins, granting every combat unit across his territory an extra 200% all-attribute boost. Stacked with Warlord's 100% all-attribute boost, Arcane Infusion's skill effect doubling, and the 10% boost from Elf Blessing. How overpowered would his soldiers become? Lin Yi dared not even imagine the numbers. He knew one thing for certain. When the time came, not just the first monster tide, even the third and fourth monster tides crashing together could be crushed and pushed back. As for accumulated military soul, it was an amazing long-term ability. Grow stronger with every fight. So long as battles were fought, his troops would keep improving. A permanent 50% all-attribute bonus. After months of grinding battles, every single soldier would effectively gain half of Warlord's buff. Most intriguing of all was the third ability, Hero's Trial. Available once every 7 days, it not only granted heroes exclusive epic rank skills, but also gave legendary rank heroes a 30% chance to advance straight to epic rank. Aurelia was currently a legendary rank hero. Even with dual trait buffs, her combat power was already formidable, yet a massive tier gap still separated legendary from epic. If she could break through to epic rank, her strength would experience a transformative leap. Lin Ye's smile grew broader the more he thought it over. He pulled up his resource panel and scanned the figures. Massive leftover resources from the 5 million premium gift pack, non-stop gathering work by the Grey Dwarves and Silver Moon Elves over the past 2 days. Plus gold and materials looted from the Silver Moon Lake and the dungeon runs, his current stockpile stood at 12 million wood, 7 million stone, 4 million fine iron, 12 million gold coins. Building the war altar required 10 million wood, 5 million stone, 3 million fine iron, and 8 million gold coins. He met every requirement, and still had ample surplus left over. even reserving resources for summoning new troop types later on. Perfect, Lin Yi murmured in approval. He carefully stored the purple-gold blueprint deep inside his system backpack. Once he finished claiming all remaining rewards, construction would begin immediately. The sooner the war altar was built, the sooner he would reap the benefits of accumulated military soul. Stowing the blueprint away, Lin Yi's gaze shifted to the two floating purple glowing pieces of equipment dropped by the moon god Apostle Selene. He had not gotten a chance to examine them inside the dungeon. Now he would assign them to his two heroes. He picked up the longbow on the left first. Around 1.5 meters long, its surface glowed with cool silvery light. Crafted from the moon god Apostle's own polished spine, its bone segments smooth as jade. It felt cool and perfectly balanced in hand. Elegant and sharp in the distinct style of elven craftsmanship, it was custom-made for Aurelia, the High Elf Princess. Lin Yi gestured toward Aurelia. Aurelia, I am here, my liege. Aurelia stepped forward at once and dropped to one knee. Her eyes fell upon the silver longbow in Lin Yi's hands, and her emerald irises blazed with brilliant light. As one of the elves' finest archers, her hunger for supreme bows ran deep in her blood. She could sense the terrifying power sealed within the weapon. This bow is yours. Lin Yi held it out to her. Thank you, my liege. Excitement rang clear in Aurelia's voice. She received the bow with both hands. The cool touch sent a faint shiver through her whole body. Instinctively, she knocked and drew into her familiar archer stance. The moment her hands closed around the bow, silver radiance burst forth from the weapon, racing up her arms and washing over her entire body. Aurelia's aura surged upward without pause. Her power, already solid from reaching level 41, ignited and climbed higher and higher. The sharp, imposing aura of an epic rank weapon rippled out from her. The Gale archers around watched their commander holding the moon-infused bow, their eyes mixing envy and admiration. Lin Yi pulled up the bow stat sheet. Equipment, Sigh of the Moon God rank, epic rank type, ranged weapon bow attack power, plus 1,280 agility, plus 350 range, plus 600 meters passive 1. Moon God armor pierce. Arrows ignore 70% of target defense. Deals an extra 100% damage against dark and undead type units. Passive 2. Moonlight mark. Targets struck by arrows gain Moonlight mark, taking 60% increased damage from all sources. Mark lasts 5 seconds, stacks up to 3 times. Active skill, Moon God's Fall. Charge for 3 seconds to fire a piercing giant moonlight arrow dealing 1,200% attack power linear area of effect damage across a 1,500-meter line. 10-minute cooldown. Reading these outrageous stats, Lin Yi nodded with satisfaction. Plus 1,280 attack power, plus 350 agility, plus an extra 600-meter range. Before this, boosted by Warlord and Elf Blessing, Aurelia's base range barely topped 1,000 meters. Now with this bow it jumped straight to 1,600 meters, outranging even Selithis' Holy Flame Dragon Breath. Her base attack power broke past 2,200 points, and this was only her base stat sheet. Factoring in Warlord's all attribute doubling, and Arcane Infusion doubling skill effectiveness, when she loosed an arrow now, not just ordinary legendary rank foes. Even Selithis in her semi-dragon form would take heavy damage if hit. Add on the 70% armor pierce and stacking vulnerability up to 180%. Any target marked by her would effectively take nearly triple damage from the whole party. Her active skill Moon God's Fall dealt 1,200% attack power linear area damage. Doubled by Arcane Infusion, that became 2,400% damage. One shot from that skill could vaporize every monster along its path. Test its power, Lin Yi said with a smile. Yes. Aurelia drew a deep breath and reined in her excitement. She stepped back onto the open training grounds. Feet planted wide, her right hand drew back the bowstring. She used no skills, only a normal draw. The bow curved into a perfect full moon. Lunar phase carvings across its frame lit up one by one. A silver arrow materialized on the string out of thin air. Sharp arrow force distorted space right at the tip, producing faint tearing sounds. Aurelia's gaze locked onto a lone rocky hill 1 kilometer outside territory borders. It was an abandoned quarry left behind by Grey Dwarf stone mining, solid hard granite. Her fingers loosened. Whoosh. The silver arrow vanished on the spot. Even the whistling sound of its flight arrived a split second late. All they saw was a flash of silver light before their eyes. The next instant, boom, the small mountain several thousand meters away blew apart right down the middle. Terrifying arrow chi tore straight through, piercing the entire granite hill. The ground behind it was plowed into a several-meter-deep, hundreds-meter-long gully. Rock fragments sprayed in every direction. Half the mountain had been blown away by that single arrow. The Windrider archers around stared in stunned silence. Their mouths hung open as they gazed at their commander's back, admiration practically spilling from their eyes. Was this the power of an epic rank weapon? It was overwhelming. Even Aurelia herself froze for a moment. She had clearly not expected her attack power to surge to such heights after wielding her new weapon. She stared down at Lament of the Moon Goddess in her hands, growing fonder of it by the second. She bowed deeply once more to Lin Yi. "Thank you, my lord, for this precious gift. Aurelia shall shoot down every foe that dares to invade your lands." Lin Yi nodded with a smile. His gaze shifted to another piece of equipment. It was a full-body suit of armor. Countless palm-sized dark gold dragon scales were layered and interlocked across its surface, glinting with cold metallic luster. Set into the chest plate was a complete fist-sized dragon heart crystal. Within the crystal, golden dragon blood seemed to flow slowly, radiating surging life force and draconic might. The pauldrons bore carvings of two ferocious dragon heads, while fine dragon patterns extended along the bracers and greaves. Even sitting there untouched, it exuded an aura that brooked no defiance. There was no question who this armor was meant for. Only Silas, the dragon speaker battle maiden, could wear it. Only her true dragon bloodline could resonate perfectly with this dragon scale armor. "Silas." Lin Yi turned toward the silver-haired dragon girl beside him. "Your subordinate is here." Silas stepped forward and dropped to one knee. Her golden vertical pupils fixed upon the dark gold armor, unmistakable fervor flashing across her features. As a dragon, nothing could captivate her more than armor forged from dragon scales and a dragon heart crystal. She could feel the natural resonance between the armor and her bloodline. "This armor is yours." Lin Yi held the armor out to her. "Thank you, my lord." Silas received it with both hands. The instant her hands touched it, dark gold light blazed forth. The armor came alive, breaking apart into countless individual dragon scales that streamed along her arms and swiftly covered her whole body. Scales clicked crisply as they settled over her existing battle gear. In but a few breaths, the Saint Dragon reverse scale armor was fully fitted upon her frame. Its dark gold scales harmonized perfectly with her innate draconic aura. The dragon heart crystal on her chest rested directly over her heart, resonating with her heartbeat and pulsing with golden halos. The moment the armor settled into place, boom, draconic might several times more formidable than before erupted from Silas. This power was heavy and august, even stronger than when she unleashed her half-dragon form. Cracks spiderwebbed across the ground beneath her feet under the weight of that aura. Several Windrider archers standing closest paled and involuntarily stepped backward. Even these legend-rank troops felt immense pressure from the draconic presence. Near the territory's borders, low-grade monsters that had wandered too close collapsed the second they sensed it, paralyzed and powerless to move. Lin Yi brought up the armor stat panel. Equipment: Saint Dragon Reverse Scale Armor. Rank: Epic. Type: Full Body Armor. Defense: plus 960. Constitution: plus 420. Strength: plus 300. Passive 1. Dragon Might Intimidation. All enemy units within 150 m suffer a 40% reduction to all attributes. Units below gold rank are immediately stricken with fear. Passive 2. Reverse Scale Retaliation. Reflect 50% of incoming melee damage back to the attacker. Against dragon-type foes, reflection increases to 100%. Active skill: Saint Dragon True Form. Temporarily unlock Pure Blood Dragon Form. All attributes rise by an additional 150%. Lasts 30 seconds. Cooldown: 1 hour. 960 points of defense. 420 points of constitution. Clad in this armor, Silas was a walking iron fortress. Combined with her natural dragon defenses and the attribute multiplier from the Warlord trait, ordinary attacks would barely scratch her. Dragon Might Intimidation was a devastating group fight ability. Within 150 meters, enemies lost 40% of their total stats before combat even began. Units below gold rank were consumed by fear, robbed of the will to fight. Reverse Scale Retaliation punished melee attackers, making them take half the damage they dealt. Against dragon foes, striking her could well destroy them through self-inflicted reflected harm. And the active skill Saint Dragon True Form was utterly overpowered. A further 150% boost to all attributes. When activating this skill, Silas's base power would multiply by 2.5. Stacked with the 80% bonus of her half-dragon form, the Warlord doubling effect, and various other buffs. Lin Yi could scarcely fathom how overwhelming her statistics would become. All he knew was that for those 30 seconds, Silas would become a veritable living dragon god, capable of laying waste to everything in her path. Silas clenched her fists, drinking in the surging power coursing through her. She could clearly feel far greater mastery over her half-dragon transformation after donning the armor. The duration of half-dragon form doubled outright. The might of her Saint Flame Dragon Breath rose by well over 120%. Even without activating any skills, the draconic aura leaking from the armor alone was enough to cripple nearby low-grade monsters. She gently channeled her dragon power. Her dragon wings unfurled slightly. Dark gold scales glinted coldly in the sunlight. Clad in the armor, she looked every inch a war goddess stepped out of myth. Even Aurelia could not help but stare in amazement at Silas. One hero now wielded an epic rank longbow, the other wore epic rank heavy plate. Both had received sweeping upgrades to their stat sheets. Lin Yi made a quick mental estimate. Their actual combat strength was more than doubled compared to their battle against the Lunar Apostle. If they fought that level 120 boss again right now, no elaborate tactics or waiting for skill cooldowns would be needed. Working in tandem, they could charge straight in and crush it to dust. With the two epic rank pieces of equipment distributed, Lin Yi's gaze fell upon the final item stored within the treasure chest space. It was a scroll. Soft moonlight shimmered across its surface, etched with countless patterns of elven archers. Silver lunar thread bound its edges, emanating mysterious, formidable energy. Troop Advancement Scroll Epic Rank. Lin Yi's eyes lit up. A Troop Advancement Scroll. This was an extremely valuable find. He immediately pulled up its description. Effect: select one existing combat unit of your territory to raise its collective rank by one major tier. Only effective against units below epic rank. Maximum of 100 units may be affected. Pick one troop type. Up to 100 units. Elevate them all a full major rank in one go. Lin Yi's breathing quickened slightly. This item was nearly as precious as the War Altar blueprint he had just obtained. Every major rank jump, from iron to bronze, bronze to silver, brought about a qualitative leap. Base stats surged, talents strengthened, and brand new skills could unlock. Among his current forces, the Saint Flame Dragon Guards were already myth rank. The scroll would have no effect on them. That left his legend rank Windrider Archers. Without hesitation, Lin Yi resolved to use the scroll on the Windrider Archers. They formed his primary ranged force, numerous and reliably high damage. Advancing them would yield the greatest overall boost to his military might. There was one catch, however. He presently only had 50 Windrider Archers. The scroll could affect up to 100. Using it now would waste half its capacity. That was unacceptable. Lin Yi issued his orders at once. Aurelia, your subordinate hears you. Go to the Windrider Archer altar. Summon 50 more Windrider Archers. Bring the total count up to 100. Gold was the last resource he lacked. Summoning one Windrider Archer cost merely 10,000 gold. 50 would come to 500,000 gold. Beside his 12 million gold reserve, that sum was negligible. Spending 500,000 gold to gain 50 units that would immediately advance a full tier was an outstanding bargain. Understood. Aurelia acknowledged the command. With several bounds, she reached the Windrider Archer altar on the territory's eastern side. Natural runes on the altar lit up. She selected to summon 50 Windrider Archers. Confirm spending 500,000 gold to summon 50 Windrider Archers? Confirm. Emerald light burst forth from the altar. 50 High Elf Archers, dressed in rattan armor and bearing longbows, stepped slowly out of the radiance. The moment they materialized, they bowed to Aurelia. Greetings, Commander. Fall in with the others. Aurelia nodded and led the 50 newly summoned archers back to the training grounds. 100 Windrider Archers stood in perfect formation. 50 veterans, mostly level 20 and above, carried the blood-chilled aura of seasoned warriors. 50 fresh recruits, only level 1, nevertheless possessed sharp eyes and steady composure. 100 legend-rank elf archers standing together radiated sharp, tangible martial spirit. Lin Yi nodded in satisfaction. He brought forth the moon-glowing scroll. No further delay. He selected to activate it. Target, Windrider Archers. Quantity, 100. Activate. The scroll dissolved into cascading silver moonlight, pouring down like a river of stars to envelop the 100 archers on the parade ground. Their rattan armor transformed, turning silver-white moonvine plate etched with fine lunar phase patterns, its defensive power greatly enhanced. Their ordinary elven longbows morphed into silver weapons similar to Aurelia's old bow, their bowstrings shimmering pale silver. Their ears lengthened, their eyes shifted to emerald green like Aurelia's, and their power rocketed upward. Their legend rank peak aura surged higher and higher until boom. It shattered the legend rank barrier, breaking through into epic rank. All 100 archers opened their eyes at once. A flash of silver moonlight flickered within each gaze. A formidable pressure belonging to epic rank troops erupted from every single one. Faint phantom lunar wings flickered behind their backs. Ding. Troop advancement complete. Your unit, Windrider archers, have collectively advanced to epic rank unit, Silver Moon Windrider shooters. All unit talents upgraded. Piercing shot upgraded to Moon God Piercing. Arrows ignore 50% of target defense. Struck targets gain 1 stack of Moon Mark, taking 20% increased damage. Max 3 stacks. New talent unlocked. Moonstep. Movement speed increased by 100%. Grants brief mid-air gliding. New active skill unlocked. Volley Moonfall. 100 Silver Moon Windrider shooters channel together, unleashing a moonlight arrow storm covering a 3,000-meter radius, dealing 800% attack power area of effect damage. Cooldown, 1 hour. As the system notifications sounded, Lin Ye's grin widened. The former Windrider archers, now Silver Moon Windrider shooters, had received a full major tier stat upgrade. Their old piercing ability had improved and now applied moon marks that synergized perfectly with Aurelia's weapon effects. Moonstep doubled movement speed and granted short-duration flight, letting them fire from above without terrain constraints. Most terrifying of all was Volley Moonfall. 100 epic rank archers channeling in unison unleashed a 3,000-meter wide arrow storm, dealing 800% damage. Under the doubling effect of Universal Blessing, that became 1,600% damage. A single such volley could mow down large swathes of a monster horde. The 100 Silver Moon Windrider shooters dropped to one knee as one. Holding their longbows across their chests, they bowed toward Lin Yi. Greetings, my lord. 100 clear female voices spoke as one, rising powerfully toward the heavens. Aurelia watched her transformed soldiers, overcome with excitement. She could feel that her 100 Silver Moon Windrider shooters possessed more than 5 times the total combat power of her original 50 Windrider archers. With such an army, no monster tide could stand against them. No floating domain threat could not be overcome. Lin Yi stood on the platform, gazing out over his parade ground filled with formidable troops. Nearby stood the solemn Saint Flame Dragon Guards. Beside him were Silas, radiating menace in her epic rank armor, and Aurelia, gallant with her epic rank longbow. He felt the vigorous life emanating from the world tree at the territory's heart, and the warm sacred light pouring forth from the holy hall to the west. A surge of resolve welled within him. An epic rank war altar blueprint, 2 epic rank pieces of gear, 100 epic rank archers. This single treasure chest haul had elevated his territory's overall military strength by an entire tier. Without pause, he pulled out the war altar construction blueprint from his backpack. Lin Yi held the blueprint glowing with rich purple-gold radiance between his fingers. Instead of building it immediately, he willed his resource panel into view. A translucent blue interface unfolded before his eyes. Lumber, 14 million units. Stone, 8 million units. Fine iron, 5 million units. Gold, 13 million units. Lin Yi scanned the figures. The war altar required 10 million lumber, 5 million stone, 3 million fine iron, and 8 million gold. He possessed every resource needed, with ample stockpiles remaining after construction to sustain long-term development and troop production. His gaze settled on the broad, open plaza directly before the Lord's Manor at the territory's absolute center. Placing the war altar here would maximize the coverage of its war aura and soul accumulation bonuses across the whole domain, and allow all combat units easy access to its blessings. He did not hesitate. His fingertip tapped lightly against the blueprint. Ding. Confirm construction of epic rank war core building, war altar. Construction cost. Lumber 10 million units, stone 5 million units, fine iron 3 million units, gold 8 million units. The cold system prompt echoed in his mind. Confirm construction. At his command, the purple-gold blueprint in his hand burst into a soaring pillar of purple-gold radiance shooting toward the clouds, dyeing much of the sky solemn violet gold. The entire territory began to tremble. It was no chaotic earthquake, but rhythmic throbbing like the beating of war drums. Boom, boom, boom. Each tremor felt like the march of thousands upon thousands of soldiers, making every heart in the domain quicken its beat. Countless dark gold divine stone motes materialized out of thin air. Millstone-sized divine stones descended from above, locking together piece by piece to form the altar's base. A circular stone platform 100 meters across and 10 meters high, its surface carved full of ancient battle runes. 36 massive stone pillars rose from the platform, each etched with depictions of war drums, swords, spears, and battle axes, dozens of meters tall, their patterns flowing as though alive. Taut purple-gold energy chains linked the pillars, exuding an awe-inspiring killing intent. At the very summit of the altar rested a sacrificial dais cast from melted weapons. Dead red fire ignited spontaneously at its exact center. The flame bore no temperature, yet everyone who beheld it felt a bone-chilling cold rise from the very depths of their souls. This was the fire of war, a flame forged from countless battlefield slaughters, martial spirits, and the will to fight. It hovered quietly atop the altar, blazing fiercely and warping the surrounding space with its heat. The entire construction process lasted a full 3 minutes. The moment the final divine stone settled into place and the war altar was fully formed, a purple-gold ripple centered on the altar exploded outward in all directions. Where the ripple passed, the 100 Silver Moon Gale archers lined up on the training ground felt their fighting spirit boil uncontrollably within them. The longbows in their hands trembled faintly, and the lunar phase carvings on the bows resonated mysteriously with the altar's battle runes. Not far away, the 10 Saint Flame Dragon guards who had been meditating simultaneously opened their golden dragon pupils. Sensing the heavy aura of slaughter, the dragon blood in their veins began to simmer, and wisp of dragon might leaked out against their will. The gray dwarves and silver moon elves working in the mineral veins and lumber camps also halted their labor, gazing in awe toward the imposing altar that had materialized in the heart of the territory. Ding! Epic grade war core building, war altar construction complete. All building effects have been unlocked. The system notification chimed right on cue. Lin Yi stood where he was, staring up at the dozens-meter-tall altar radiating a heavy aura of slaughter, and nodded in satisfaction. His gaze then fell on Aurelia not far off, who stood calmly holding Lament of the Moon Goddess. This elven princess had followed him from day one of the server launch. Now a level 41 legendary ranked hero, she possessed overwhelming combat power. She wielded the epic grade weapon Lament of the Moon Goddess, and was blessed by 4 auras: Warlord's Might, Universal Boon, Elven Blessing, and Lunar Blessing. Her strength far outstripped that of ordinary legendary heroes. The stated 30% base success probability would be far higher in her case. In fact, Lin Yi was over 90% confident she would succeed on the first try. Without delay, Lin Yi stepped onto the steps of the war altar. The soles of his boots struck the dark gold divine stone, producing dull, heavy thuds. Step by step, he ascended to the altar's summit, stopping before the crimson warfire. Aurelia and Silith followed close behind him onto the altar. Aurelia. Lin Yi paused and turned to face the elven princess. Your subordinate is present. Aurelia stepped forward at once and dropped to one knee. Her golden hair spilled over her shoulders. She gripped Lament of the Moon Goddess tightly, her emerald eyes brimming with reverence. I shall initiate the hero trial, Lin Yi said evenly. The target is you. Do you have confidence? At the words hero trial, Aurelia's eyes lit up. She knew exactly what this meant. Breaking through to epic rank, the pinnacle every legendary hero strove for their whole lives. Without hesitation, she slammed her right fist hard against her left breast with a hollow thud. This subordinate shall not fail my lord's expectations. Her voice was cool yet unshakable, resolute as steel. Lin Yi nodded. He wasted no more words and placed his palm upon the altar's central dais. Ding. Consume 1 hero trial charge to send Hero Aurelia into the war illusion. Note. Base success rate for legendary ranked heroes breaking through to epic rank, 30%. Confirm. Lin Yi focused his will. Buzz. The instant he spoke, the crimson warfire burning atop the altar swelled several times over. A thick purple-gold pillar of light shot skyward from the dais, swallowing Aurelia entirely. Within the pillar, countless phantoms of blades, spears, swords, and halberds flashed past her. Faint roars of clashing armies echoed from within the radiance. This was the war illusion, a comprehensive trial testing a hero's state of mind, combat prowess, and willpower. Aurelia kept her eyes shut, yet her hands holding Lament of the Moon Goddess remained rock-steady. Her figure faded within the purple-gold pillar of light, until at last she vanished entirely along with the soaring beam into the warfire. The trial had begun. Lin Yi did not remain atop the altar to wait. He turned, descended the steps, and stood quietly on the terrace before the Lord's manor. Silith departed to lead the newly recruited units out to level grind. Time ticked by. The sun dipped toward the horizon. For full hours slipped by from afternoon until dusk. No sign of change came from the altar. Several low-rank magical beasts caught wind of the territory during this interval and charged foolishly forward. Every single one was shot through the skull by the Silver Moon Gale archers on the training ground before they could draw near the territory borders. Gray dwarves and Silver Moon elves kept working steadily, the numbers on the resource panel climbing consistently. As the final rays of sunset were about to vanish below the horizon, buzz. The warfire atop the altar flickered violently. The next second, a terrifying aura many times more powerful than the one Aurelia had possessed before erupted from the altar, surging straight toward the heavens. Sharp as an arrow yet soft and cold as moonlight, the energy pierced the clouds. The purple pillar of light ignited once more. Aurelia's figure stepped slowly out from the warfire. She still wore her moon-white elven combat attire and still held Lament of the Moon Goddess in her grasp. Yet her entire bearing had undergone a world-shaking transformation. Her golden hair drifted without wind, each strand shimmering with faint silver lunar radiance, glinting like scattered starlight in the dying sunset. A visible veil of silver moonlight swirled around her, intertwining strangely and harmoniously with the altar's purple-gold divine radiance. Most striking of all were her eyes. Where once they had been clear emerald, now the depths of her pupils swirled with an entire river of stars. Simply standing there, she felt unfathomable. No longer merely an elven archer wielding a longbow, she resembled a cold moon hanging high in the night sky. Cool, lofty, impossible to gaze upon directly. Her power had multiplied many times over since entering the trial. This was a leap in the very fabric of her existence, a qualitative transformation from legendary to epic rank. Ding! Congratulations! Your hero Aurelia has passed the War Illusion trial. Rank Breakthrough, Legendary Epic. All attributes greatly increased. Gained exclusive epic skill, Moon God's Arrow. Base talents have received epic grade enhancement. A string of system notifications resounded inside Lin Ye's mind. A slow smile tugged at his lips. Just as he had predicted, Aurelia had succeeded on her very first attempt. Aurelia slowly opened her eyes. She glanced down at her hands, feeling the surging power welling up inside her. An undisguised excitement flashed across her face. She turned toward Lin Yi on the terrace and knelt on one knee. Subordinate Aurelia has not failed you. I have broken through to epic rank. Lin Yi nodded in satisfaction. Another epic grade combatant was now under his command. Together with mythic-ranked Silith, he now possessed 2 top-tier heroes. Added to that were the newly promoted 100 epic-grade Silver Moon Gale archers and 30 mythic-grade Saint Flame Dragon guards. With such a force, not even the first beast tide posed a threat. He felt confident enough to march straight for the Floating Isle's core, seize it, and claim full dominion over the land. He was about to speak when a cold, grand, emotionless system announcement boomed inside the mind of every Floating Isle player at once. It was neither a personal alert nor a regular global broadcast, a system warning resonating deep within every soul. Ding! Floating Isle-wide announcement. The first Floating Isle Beast Tide is approaching. Time remaining until Beast Tide outbreak. 10 hours. All lords, prepare your defenses. Beast Tide difficulty selection interface is now open. Confirm your challenge difficulty before the countdown expires. 3 difficulty tiers available: normal, hard, hell. Higher difficulty means stronger and more numerous monsters and higher-ranked bosses, alongside richer kill and clear stage rewards. Warning: once confirmed, difficulty cannot be altered. Choose carefully. The announcement repeated 3 times, pealing like thunder in every player's ears. Server 009 erupted instantly. A translucent selection window popped up in front of Lin Yi, its 3 options marked in distinct colors. Instead of choosing immediately, he opened the detailed descriptions for each difficulty. Normal, monsters primarily Iron rank and Bronze rank, with a small number of Silver rank foes. No Gold rank or higher units, no bosses. Clear stage rewards, basic resource bundle, moderate experience. Hard, monsters primarily Bronze rank and Silver rank, large numbers of Gold rank foes, plus some Diamond rank enemies. 1 Gold rank boss spawns at the tide's climax. Clear stage rewards, abundant resource bundle, massive experience, chance to drop gold-grade equipment/blueprints. Hell, monsters primarily Silver rank and Gold rank, swarms of Diamond rank and Legendary rank foes. Multiple Legendary elite units spawn throughout the assault. A peak Legendary boss descends at the tide's end with a Berserk Rage mechanic. Clear stage rewards, vast resource bundle, enormous experience, Guaranteed at least one epic grade item, one SS rank territory trait. Warning: Hell difficulty Beast Tide results in instant Lord obliteration if territory damage exceeds 90%. Exercise extreme caution. The descriptions lay plainly before him. The blood-red line's warning of extreme fatality and outright erasure sent chills down the spine. Lin Yi could well imagine the chaos unfolding in the world chat channel right now. He pulled it open. Sure enough, it was in complete uproar. Messages scrolled too fast to read. Damn it, the Beast Tide is finally here. 10 hours left, and my walls aren't even finished. Which difficulty? Normal, obviously. A silver wolf wrecked my gates yesterday. Picking hard would be suicide. Normal +1. Just staying alive is victory. Why reach for more? Any big shots going hard? The rewards look amazing. Gold gear can drop. Going hard? Are you insane? It has gold monsters and a gold boss. My whole territory couldn't survive one stomp. Hell difficulty? Did I read that right? Legendary monsters, a legendary boss? No human could pick that. Whoever picks Hell must have lost their mind. Instant obliteration, remember. I'll eat my screen if anyone selects it. Forget Hell, I won't even touch hard. Stick to normal and survive the first wave. What do you think that anonymous top player will choose? He's strong. Will he dare pick Hell? No matter how strong he is, Hell is impossible. Not so sure. Didn't he slay a legendary boss recently? The chat was flooded with panic. 99% of players timidly locked in normal difficulty. Only a handful who considered themselves somewhat powerful gritted their teeth and selected hard. No soul dared touch Hell. Those blood-red words, instant obliteration, stood as an impassable barrier for every player. Lin Yi read the flood of messages with a blank expression. Without hesitation, his finger tapped the blood-red option at the very bottom. Hell difficulty. Ding. You have selected Hell difficulty for this Beast Tide. Hell difficulty carries extreme peril. Territory damage above 90% means mission failure and Lord obliteration. No further modifications permitted after confirmation. Finalize your choice. The system warning sounded heavier than ever. Lin Yi's gaze remained calm. A peak legendary boss from a Beast Tide? He had already slain a peak legendary lunar apostle. Why fear this? He possessed the war altar, war sacrifice mechanics, 100 epic grade archers, mythic ranked Silith, and newly ascended epic grade Aurelia. Even if the threat doubled, he held absolute confidence in holding the line. Great risk brought great reward. Confirm. Lin Yi's tone was perfectly steady. Crack. High above his territory, the darkening night sky was torn open by a streak of blood-red lightning. Boom. Deafening thunder rolled overhead. An oppressive aura of bloodshed and slaughter permeated the air around the territory. Deep within the distant jungle, countless magical beasts stirred restlessly, sensing the coming catastrophe. Ding. Selection confirmed. Hell difficulty. First floating isle Beast Tide countdown. 10 hours, commencing now. As the cold system notification faded, Lin Yi stood with hands clasped behind his back, staring up at the sky illuminated by blood-red lightning. Terror hung heavy over the entire floating isle. A confident smile slowly spread across his lips. The 10-hour preparation period passed in the blink of an eye. Thanks to experience boost auras and the war altar's martial spirit accumulation, Lin Yi leveled his 50 newly summoned Silver Moon Gale archers above level 20. His original 10 Saint Flame Dragon Guards also gained several levels from monster hunting, their dragon might growing more condensed. He spent resources to summon 20 additional Saint Flame Dragon Guards, bringing the total of this mythic ranked unit to 30. His full military strength now stood at 30 mythic grade Saint Flame Dragon Guards plus 100 epic grade Silver Moon Gale archers. His overall combat power had climbed drastically since the Beast Tide announcement. Along the walls of the Fortress of Eternal Ice, 16 Holy Flame defense towers stood fully charged. Golden flames danced atop their spires, radiating blistering heat. 10 seconds remained on the countdown. The clear sky darkened abruptly. Blood-red storm clouds rushed in from every direction, swallowing the heavens above the floating isle. The ground shuddered violently, and even the ice fortress walls trembled. Beast roars boomed simultaneously from jungles, mountain ranges, and underground lairs, reverberating like thousands of war drums and stinging the eardrums. Ding! The first floating isle Beast Tide has erupted. The system alert blared in every player's ears. Pull the camera back, and the whole floating isle descended into chaos. Swarming hordes of magical beasts poured forth from every corner, a black tide swallowing the land. The weakest of these beasts started at silver rank, level 30. Gold rank monsters flooded every field of view. Diamond rank foes flickered amid the masses in horrifying numbers. Dozens of boss-grade auras surged skyward, several of them reaching legendary rank. Where the tide advanced, vegetation was crushed, boulders shattered, and the ground caved under countless trampling claws and hooves. Other players' owls descended into pandemonium. Those on normal difficulty scrambled desperately against bronze and silver foes, hurling skills wildly as their defensive lines teetered on collapse. The small number on hard difficulty paled in terror, forcing their units to hold the line. Many city walls already bore cracks smashed open by gold rank monsters. As for hell difficulty, only one lord across the whole server bore that burden. Lin Yi stood atop the fortress of Eternal Ice's city wall, his black robes whipping in the blood-tinged wind. His expression was serene, no trace of alarm in his eyes, as if the apocalyptic hell-ranked beast tide unfolding before him was nothing more than a trivial spectacle. Beneath the walls, the 100 Silver Moon Gale archers stood in perfect formation. Their silver moonvine armor glinted coldly, longbows drawn to full draw. Their killing intent sharpened the air around them. 30 Saint Flame Dragon guards hovered in midair, golden dragon wings fully unfurled. Their overwhelming dragon might rolled outward, making the low-ranked beasts charging a kilometer ahead tremble and slow their advance. Celeste stood at the very front of the outer city wall. The Saint Dragon reverse-scale armor on her glowed under the blood-red skylight. Dark gold dragon scales shimmered with flowing radiance, and the pressure of a myth-rank existence made the surrounding air faintly stagnate. Ariel stood not far from her side. The elven princess held the sigh of the moon god in her hands. Starlight swirled within her jade-green pupils. Epic tear sharpness solidified around her, and even her gaze carried piercing cold. Activate all sacred flame towers. Lin Ye's voice rang out across the wall, sounding as casual as if he were ordering supper. Silver Moon archers, deploy on 3 sides. Dragon guards, mobile support. Celeste will hold the front. Ariel, move around to cover gaps. After issuing the brief orders, Lin Yi paused and added in a calm tone. Finish this quickly. Don't make us late for dinner. Yes. Celeste and Ariel bowed in unison. There was no trace of nervousness in their voices, only barely contained, eager battle intent. At the same moment, cold system alerts blared in every player's ear all at once. Ding! The Beast Horde leaderboard is officially open. Point rules. Defeating Black Iron rank monsters grants 1 point. Bronze rank, 10 points. Silver rank, 100 points. Gold rank, 1,000 points. Diamond rank, 10,000 points. Legend rank, 100,000 points. Boss units award double points. Points may be exchanged for rare rewards once the Beast Horde ends. The top 100 players on the leaderboard receive additional ranking prizes, with the first place reward being the most generous. While scrambling to command their troops on defense, players opened the leaderboard interface one after another. On the initial ranking, the top spots belonged to the small number of players who had chosen hard difficulty. Their scores were tightly clustered. First place only held a few tens of thousands of points, with no huge gap separating them from those below. No one expected that merely seconds later, this leaderboard would be completely dominated by an anonymous ID. Back at Lin Ye's position, the vanguard of the Beast Horde finally stepped within the 1-kilometer range. 16 sacred flame defense towers opened fires simultaneously. 16 water bucket-thick golden fire pillars erupted from the tower tops, sweeping across the front ranks of the beast swarm. Terrifying high temperatures warped the air. Hundreds of silver rank and gold rank monsters charging in the front line did not even have time to scream. They were instantly incinerated into ashes by sacred flame, not a fragment of bone remaining. Floating damage numbers all started with 5 digits, instant kills on contact. Right after that, the Silver Moon Gale archers on the city wall unleashed their first volley. 100 silver arrows tore through the sky. Each carried the moon god piercing effect, unstoppable. Diamond rank monsters had their skulls pierced by single arrows and died before their defenses could hold. Gold rank monsters fell in swathes, dropping like harvested wheat. Moonfall volley. At Ariel's command, 100 Silver Moon Gale archers drew their longbows and charged toward the densest cluster of beasts. The next instant, a moon-white arrow shower covering a 3-kilometer radius poured down from above, dyeing the whole sky silvery white. Nothing survived where the arrows struck. Hundreds of packed gold rank monsters were instantly riddled. No intact corpses remained. They were torn to shreds by the dense barrage. On the front battlefield, Celeste hovered in midair, her dragon wings fully unfurled. She simply opened her mouth and swept forth a golden dragon breath. It carved out a 100-meter-wide empty zone in its wake. Several legend rank monsters roared, and charged against the breath. Suppressed by dragon might, they lost 30% of their power before taking the full force of the breath. They turned to ashes in less than 3 seconds. With a casual lift of her hand, she cast the dragon language spell, Dragon Flame Detonation. 100-meter-wide golden fireball crashed into the thickest part of the horde. Blast waves raged outward. Every monster within range, along with the ground itself, was reduced to ash. Ariel moved like a phantom, darting back and forth between the 3 sections of wall. She kept drawing the sigh of the moon god. Every ordinary shot pierced dozens of diamond rank monsters in a single line. When elite monster groups drew too near, she unleashed her ultimate ability, Moon God's Fall. A colossal silver arrow shot from her bow, rending space along its path. Every monster across a 1-kilometer straight line vanished completely. The hard ground was plowed into a several-zhang deep chasm. Even the bedrock at the bottom was vitrified by lunar energy. It was total, one-sided suppression. The countless monstrous beasts could not even draw near the walls of the ice fortress. They were slaughtered en masse 1 kilometer out. Mountainous piles of corpses accumulated below the wall, and black blood streamed like rivers. Yet the horde's assault visibly thinned. On the leaderboard, the anonymous player's point bar climbed at an incomprehensible, horrifying rate. From nowhere on the list, to top 10, then straight to first place. It all took merely 5 minutes. Furthermore, their score kept surging by tens of thousands of points every second. The gap over second place widened to a hopeless magnitude. The world chat channel exploded. Whoa, those points are rising way too fast. Anonymous player? Anonymous again? Wait, this can't be right. Even hard difficulty doesn't spawn this many high-grade monsters. Could this top player have picked hell difficulty? Hell difficulty? Are you kidding me? Someone actually dared pick that? That has to be it. Only hell difficulty spawns so many diamond rank and legend rank foes. Normal difficulty can't give points like this. Good heavens, their points are dozens of times higher than second place. Is this even human? Remember? The same anonymous player sold legend rank class cards and got the world's first kill against the peak legend boss before. It has to be the same person. Who on earth is this expert? How can they be this powerful only 3 days after launch? Countless players were utterly stunned. While struggling to hold back normal or hard difficulty beast hordes on their own territories, they kept refreshing the leaderboard, watching the anonymous players' score soar. Some burned with admiration, desperate to gain this powerhouse's favor. Some felt jealous and made snide remarks. Others speculated endlessly about their real identity. Most were simply numb. Ordinary players could not begin to fathom the expert's world. While this powerhouse mowed down legend rank monsters in hell difficulty, they themselves were being chased around by silver rank monsters in normal difficulty. This game really was not meant for average people. Less than half an hour into the fight, thick layers of monster corpses surrounded Lin Ye's territory, stretching out into a scene of carnage. The beast horde's attacks weakened. Fewer and fewer monsters charged forward. It was not that they refused to advance, they were being killed too quickly. Beasts died the moment they showed up. New foes could not even fill the gaps. Leaning against the battlements atop the wall, Lin Yi watched the thinning horde in the distance with an unchanged, calm gaze. He mentally calculated the combat pace. At this slaughter rate, the first hell, difficulty beast horde would be completely wiped out in no more than 10 more minutes. Time ticked onward. The battle reached its 40th minute. The density of the horde outside the walls dropped noticeably. The endless black tide of earlier days was gone. Yet the remaining monsters each possessed overwhelmingly terrifying auras. Low, tier silver, rank and gold, rank creatures had almost all been slain. Only diamond, rank elite stayed, and legend, rank presences flickered from time to time. On the wall, Lin Yi slouched against the cold crenellation, twirling a newly looted diamond, grade monster core between his fingers. His expression remained indifferent, as if the blood-soaked battlefield below were nothing more than a trivial game. Right then, 3 vastly different, yet equally dreadful auras erupted simultaneously from 3 separate directions. Roar! An elephant's trumpet shook the heavens, and the ground heaved violently. The beast swarm to the east split apart. 100-meter, tall lava colossus elephant strode forward. Its hide resembled cracked volcanic rock. Red magma oozed through fissures, leaving burning footprints with every heavy step. The air scorched and distorted in its wake. Ordinary attacks could not even scratch its skin. To the west, a dark shadow darted through the horde, moving so fast it left only afterimages. Shadow Leopard King blended fully into darkness, picking off isolated targets. Several diamond, rank monsters that had pushed too far forward had already had their throats silently torn open. High in the sky, a piercing eagle shriek tore through blood-red clouds. A poison wyvern with a 50-meter wingspan dove down. It exhaled dark, green toxic mist. Plants withered and blackened wherever the mist touched, and rock corroded full of tiny holes. 3 legend, rank elite bosses advanced from 3 directions, breaking through outer monster lines and heading straight for the city wall. Even so, Lin Yi on the wall barely lifted an eyelid. 30 Saint Flame Dragon guards stationed in the sky struck first. They lifted their heads in unison, golden dragon pupils locking onto the diving poison wyvern. Roar! 30 waves of dragon might burst forth together. Crushing dragon pressure slammed into the poison wyvern. The legend, rank flying beast could not even utter a wail. Its wings froze mid-air. An invisible force seized it and smashed it hundreds of meters down into the ground, creating a huge crater. Before it could stagger back to its feet, 30 streams of golden sacred, flame dragon breath poured down. Blazing holy fire engulfed the wyvern entirely. In but a single second, the poison wyvern, bones, poison mist and all, burned completely to ashes. Eastward, the lava colossus elephant closed to within 1 kilometer of the wall. It trumpeted loudly. Magma surged across its body as it prepared to smash against the ice fortress wall under fire. Standing on the wall, Ariel drew the sigh of the moon god without deliberate aiming. A silver arrow coalesced on the bowstring. Moon god armor, piercing shot, moonlight mark. Both effects stacked instantly. She loosened her fingertips. Whoosh! The silver arrow became nothing but a streak of light. It crossed 1 kilometer in an instant, piercing through the elephant's raised trunk and exiting out the back of its skull. Lunar energy detonated inside its brain. The colossus elephant's roar cut short. Its 100-meter, tall frame swayed, then crashed straight down. It smashed a dozens-meter-wide crater. Its outer magma cooled rapidly into blackened rock. To the west, Shadow Leopard King used shadow cover to circle silently toward the rear side of the wall. It stared at the silver moon gale archers firing toward the front, glinting with cruel intent, coiling to pounce. But the moment it emerged from shadow, a giant dragon claw covered in dark, gold scales materialized above its head out of thin air. Celise never even glanced backward. She simply struck out from afar with one casual swat. Crunch. With one soft sound, the swift, stealth, specialized legend, rank Leopard King perished instantly, crushed into pulp. Not even its shadow remained. From the appearance of the 3 monsters to their total defeat, less than 10 seconds passed. None had managed to get anywhere near the ice fortress wall. Atop the wall, Lin Yi finally raised his gaze. He tossed the monster core into his backpack and yawned. Just then, the blood-red clouds overhead thickened visibly. Pale red deepened to a crimson that looked ready to drip blood. A sharp stench of blood filled the air. Remaining monsters on the ground trembled flat against the earth, too terrified to move. A power far exceeding every prior beast slowly rose from the heart of the horde. Ding! Warning! Hell! Difficulty beast. Horde final boss is descending. Player, prepare for combat. The ground shook far more violently than it had under the lava colossus elephant. Crack! A massive fissure split open the ground at the horde's center. A black, scaled giant hand with claws more than 10 meters long pushed out from below. Boom! The ground shattered. A terrifying jet, black monster with bone spurs along its back burst out from beneath the soil. It stood over 200 meters tall, like a moving black mountain. Dozens-meter long bone spurs jutted from its back. Its tips oozed corrosive black, demonic fluid. Its eyes were 2 burning pools of demonic crimson flame. A single glance froze the surrounding air. Final boss, Abyss Demon Lord, Ball rank. Peak legend. Rank level. 150 skills. Abyss Demonic Flame. World. Ending Demon Fist. Demon God Domain. The moment the system notification popped up, the Abyss Demon Lord let loose a roar. Roar. Black sound. Waves rippled outward. Rock fragments showered down from distant mountain ranges. Within a 10-li radius, ground corroded under pitch, black demonic energy, turning into barren black wasteland. The boss radiated overwhelming menace. Even facing this apocalyptic-looking fiend, Celise on the city wall merely flexed her wrists. She stepped off the wall, spreading her dragon wings slightly. She did not activate her dragon transformation. Hovering in mid-air, dark, gold light glowed across her dragon reverse, scale armor. She did not call Ariel into action, nor did she activate war altar sacrifices. She flew alone straight toward the 200-meter tall Abyss Demon Lord. The Demon Lord lowered its head. Its burning crimson eyes locked onto Celise. It roared in rage and threw a giant right fist wreathed in whirled, shattering black, demonic flame toward her. Wind distorted space in its path, and demonic fire burned with the power to reduce everything to cinders. This single blow could pulverize an entire hill. Against this devastating strike, Celise neither dodged nor evaded. She clenched her own fist and met it head-on. Boom! Golden Dragon Fist collided violently against Black Demon Fist mid-air. A sickening cracking sound echoed. Crack! The Demon Lord's right arm, harder than steel 100 times over, exploded at the elbow. Black demon blood sprayed down like rain, burning pits across the charred ground where it splashed. Roar! The Abyss Demon Lord howled in agony, staggering backward. For the first time, terror flickered within its demon flame eyes. It could never have imagined such overwhelming power coming from a being that looked tiny by comparison. Pressing her advantage, Celise beat her dragon wings and shot straight above the Demon Lord's head. Her fingers splayed into dragon, claw shapes, dark, gold dragon power surging at her fingertips. Saint Dragon Sky Rending Claw. Celise spoke in a calm, level voice. 5-3, 100-meter, long golden claw beams tore open space. They sliced from the Demon Lord's crown all the way down to its feet. Rip! A sound like cloth tearing rang out. The supposedly invulnerable 200-meter demonic body split cleanly in two. Black demon blood cascaded down like waterfalls. The Demon Lord's burning crimson eyes dimmed instantly. It never got to unleash a second skill. Its two massive halves crashed to either side. Boom! Two deafening impacts shook the land. Dust and smoke billowed high. Rivers of demon blood pooled across the ground. Peak Legend, Rank Boss, Level 150 Abyss Demon Lord Ball, had fallen in fewer than 3 total moves. Celise had not even used her half dragon transformation. One normal punch followed by one skill was all it took for the instant defeat. She brushed dust from her hands as though finishing something trivial and flew back toward the city wall. Up on the wall, Lin Yi had not even watched the whole fight. He was already browsing his backpack to check what loot the boss had dropped. At that exact moment, system announcements boomed across every floating island of the Blue Star server. Ding! Congratulations player for repelling the first hell, difficulty beast horde. Ding! Congratulations player for repelling the first hell, difficulty beast horde. Ding! Congratulations player for repelling the first hell, difficulty beast horde. 3 repeating announcements blared. Blood, red text flooded every player's field of vision. Beast, horde duration, 47 minutes. Total monsters slain, 127,843. Territory damage rate, 0%. Final rating, SSS-Rank. World, first clear of hell, difficulty beast horde achievement unlocked. As the string of alerts finished, pop up windows stacked in front of Lin Yi, showing wave after wave of reward notifications. Base clear rewards issued. Lumber times 500,000 units. Stone times 500,000 units. Fine iron times 500,000 units. Gold coins times 20,000. SSS Rank bonus rewards issued. SS Rank territory trait card times 1. Epic Rank troop chest times 1. Legend Rank hero summon card times 1. First place leaderboard rewards issued. Mysterious grand prize times 1 unopened. Unique server wide title beast horde terminator times 1. Final boss drops. Abyss Demon Core Legend. Rank material times 1. Epic. Rank equipment times 2. Epic. Rank building blueprint Abyss Demon Realm times 1. Glancing over the mountain of new items inside his backpack, Lin Yi raised an eyebrow slightly. Not bad. A little more than I expected. His tone stayed casual. Meanwhile, world chat descended into complete chaos. 47 minutes? The hell? Difficulty Beast Horde was cleared in 47 minutes. I'm still barely holding on in normal difficulty. My walls are about to break. And someone already finished hell difficulty? SSS rating. Is that even possible? I only got a B rank for normal difficulty. 0% territory damage. Not even a scratch on the wall. SS rank trait card. Epic troop chest. Legend rank hero summon card. These rewards are absurdly generous. I saw the Abyss Demon Lord through spectator mode. 200 meters tall and gone in 3 moves. Who really is this powerhouse? Only 3 days post-launch, and their power is beyond belief. Begging for alliance. I can gather resources, organize supplies, and offer reliable support. Could this expert be a reincarnated soul? How else would they get this strong in 3 days? Read too many novels. Reincarnators don't actually exist. From today onward, this anonymous powerhouse is my idol. I will argue with anyone who badmouths them. We play the same game. They mow down legend, rank foes on hell difficulty, while normal difficulty monsters overwhelm me. The gap between players is unimaginable. Messages scrolled so fast they could barely be read. Server 009, and even the whole Blue Star region, seethed because of the anonymous player's incredible performance. And at this very moment, on Blue Star, atop its 3 highest rank floating islands. 3 floating island lords exuding terrifying auras simultaneously closed the scoreboard spectator interface. These 3 were Blue Star's only 3 veteran floating island lords who had successfully claimed their coronations. Each wielded overwhelming power capable of suppressing entire regions, standing at the absolute apex of Blue Star's power hierarchy. Yet right now, undisguised shock showed on all 3 of their faces. Cleared hell, difficulty beast tied in 47 minutes, defeated a peak, legend, rank boss in 3 strikes. This young one is no ordinary being. One lord clad in golden battle robes tapped lightly on his armrest, wariness flickering across his eyes. It was quickly followed by a glimmer of delight. Just a few hours prior, all floating island lords of Blue Star had received a highest level system notification originating from the game's source. In 27 days, Blue Star server would formally merge with servers of all myriad races across the universe. Prior to the merge, there would be a myriad races trial for all new server floating island newcomers. Each new server would receive exactly 1 participant slot. Ranking in this trial would directly determine resource allocation and the initial standing of Blue Star server among all the myriad races after the merge. Originally, they had been deeply troubled. Among Blue Star's current batch of newcomers, there was no one capable enough. Sent to the myriad races trial grounds, they would likely be eliminated in the very first round. Should Blue Star start off in a lowly position, its future development would face constant restraints. But now, they had witnessed Lin Ye's combat records. The 3 men exchanged glances, and the same thought dawned within each of them. Find him. Spare no cost to make contact with this anonymous young talent. This trial slot must belong to him. He alone can fight for a sliver of opportunity for Blue Star before all the myriad races. Blood clouds slowly dispersed. The glow of the setting sun spilled back down over the land. Lin Yi stood upon the city wall, watching monster corpses below gradually fade away, and stretched lazily. Let's head back. Time for dinner. He spoke calmly before turning and descending the city wall. Selithus and Aurelia exchanged glances, smiles rising in both of their eyes, and hurried after him. Lin Yi strode down the icy blue walls of Fortress of Eternal Ice. The sharp stench of blood mixed with the acrid tang of lightning. Scorched flesh drifted through the air. Selithus and Aurelia followed one on each side. Their golden dragon wings and silver longbows still hummed with lingering battle fervor. My liege lord. Aurelia's cool voice rang out first. My sovereign, that was magnificent. During this hell, rank beast tide, we slew a total of 127,607 magical beasts of varying ranks. Our forces sustained 0 casualties. We hold first place across the entire server in accumulated points, outstripping second place by 17-fold. Selithus nodded, golden vertical pupils still burning with leftover battle fury. Lin Yi gave a slight nod and stepped into the Lord's manor. Seated upon the main throne, he focused his mind and opened his system inventory. Rewards of every description filled the entire panel at a glance. At the very top lay a SSS-Rank territory trait card radiating fearsome dark, gold divine radiance. Beside it rested an epic, rank troop chest wrapped in purple thunder patterns. Further down were a legendary, hero summon card, a colorful treasure chest marked Mystery Grand Prize. There were also 2 pieces of equipment shimmering with epic, grade halos, architectural blueprints for the Abyss Demon realm. Over 100 piled up Abyss Demon cores were in the corner. All these were rewards for the perfect clearance of the hell, difficulty beast tide. Lin Ye's gaze swept over every item and finally settled on that dark, gold trait card. He would claim the most significant reward first. He reached out and took hold of the SS-Rank trait card. The moment it touched his hand, a far vaster power surged forth than what he had felt from the previous universal blessing trait. Dark, gold divine light swirled slowly across its surface, obscure runes of cosmic law flickering within. Use. Lin Yi wasted no time and whispered the command in his mind. Boom! Dark, gold divine radiance erupted violently. The card transformed into a heaven, piercing divine rainbow that burst straight through the Lord's Manor's roof. The next instant, centered on the Lord's Manor, terrifying energy ripples spread outward like a tsunami. In the blink of an eye, the entire territory was enveloped beneath this thick shroud of dark, gold divine glow. The walls of Fortress of Eternal Ice hummed in resonance beneath the radiance. Countless leaves of the world tree trembled all at once, showering vast swathes of golden light rained down upon the land. Flames atop the 16 holy flame defense towers surged dozens of meters higher, nearly licking the clouds above. All units patrolling and laboring across the territory froze in place, staring upward toward the sky in awe. They could distinctly feel primal territorial power merging deep into every fiber of their bodies. High in the sky, dark, gold radiance slowly coalesced, forming rows of ancient, weighty runes of law hanging suspended above the world. Ding. SSS-Rank territory trait successfully activated. Territory trait. Might of the War God grade. SSS-Rank. Effect 1. All allied units within territory gain a permanent 100% attack boost. Effect 2. All allied units gain plus 50% critical rate and plus 100% critical damage. Effect 3. Upon slaying an enemy unit, gain a temporary plus 10% attack boost, stacking up to 10 times. Reading through these effects, Lin Yi's pupils constricted slightly as he rapidly ran calculations in his head. The Warlord trait doubled all base attributes. Might of the War God doubled attack power yet again. Stacked together, basic normal, attack damage quadrupled. Coupled with Universal Blessing skill, effect doubling, all skill damage started at an 8-fold multiplier. That was not all. A 50% critical chance paired with 100% extra critical damage. When a critical strike landed, damage would double once more. At maximum potential, his subordinate unit's critical skill damage could reach 16 times the original baseline. What did 16-fold damage mean? Even an ordinary Saint Flame Dragon Guard could smash a regular peak legend rank boss to death with a single claw strike. At that moment, every unit across the territory let out roars of exhilaration. Golden dragon flames blazing upon Saint Flame Dragon Guards erupted outward, their dragon prestige doubling in strength, warping the surrounding air. Longbows of Silver Moon Gale archers hummed, arrow tips condensing sharp glows so tangible one could feel their biting edge hundreds of meters away. Even gray dwarves normally occupied with forging and mining brimmed with newfound vigor. They thumped their chests, roaring eagerly, eager to grab their hammers and smash open demon crystal veins. Feeling surging power welling inside him, Lin Yi wore a faint smile. The dark gold divine glow gradually faded. Lin Yi shifted his gaze toward the nearby treasure chest of purple gold hue, crisscrossed by countless thunder arcs. This was the epic rank troop chest. Lin Yi placed his hand upon its surface. Open. Click. The chest latch snapped open. Boom. Purple lightning, even more blinding than the prior dark gold radiance, shot straight toward the heavens. Deafening thunder boomed as divine lightning descended from above, shaking the entire territory. Purple thunder dragons writhed and roared within the blazing light. Even leaves of the central world tree trembled from residual thunder shockwaves, tiny electric arcs dancing across every leaf. Production units near the training grounds gasped for breath beneath the thunder pressure and hastily backed away. The lightning slowly subsided. A purple architectural blueprint coiled in endless thunder arcs floated before Lin Yi. Ding. Epic rank troop, chest opened successfully. You have obtained architectural blueprint, the altar of thunder war god epic rank. As the system prompt faded, the blueprint's detailed stat panel unfolded. Architectural blueprint, altar of thunder war god. Grade, epic rank. Building type, troop summon structure. Summonable troop, thunder war god. Troop grade, epic rank. Troop type, melee heavy armor, lightning affinity. Summon cost, 50,000 gold coins per unit. Troop innate talents, thunder forged body. Tempered perpetually by thunder, plus 30% all attributes. Complete immunity to all lightning damage. Hammer of Thor. Basic attacks deal splashing lightning damage. Lightning can chain jump between enemy units, up to 5 jumps. Wrath of Thunder. Attack power rises as health drops. Below 10% health, gain an additional plus 100% attack boost. Active skill, Thor's Descent. Temporarily transform into Thor's avatar, plus 80% all attributes for 10 seconds. 1 hour cooldown. Reading these stats, Lin Yi nodded in satisfaction. Up to this point, Saint Flame Dragon Guards filled aerial assault roles, and Silver Moon Gale archers handled long-range firepower. What he had lacked was heavy ground assault units capable of frontline combat. Thunder War Gods perfectly filled this gap. Ground, air, long range. His three-branch military system was now fully complete. Construct the altar of Thunder War God. Lin Yi issued the build command directly. Summon 20 Thunder War Gods. Confirm consumption. 500,000 lumber, 800,000 stone, 300,000 fine iron, 1 million gold coins to build altar of Thunder War God and summon 20 Thunder War Gods. 1 million gold coins. For Lin Yi, who now possessed tens of millions of gold coins, this cost was negligible. Confirm. Above the open training grounds on the territory's western side, endless purple thunder surged skyward. Peals of thunder rolled nonstop. Countless purple lightning arcs welled forth from empty space, converging, assembling, taking shape. A towering altar built entirely from purple gold thunder-infused stone, carved all over with esoteric thunder runes, rose into view at visible speed. Suspended above its apex pulsed a roiling thunder orb, like a miniature sun, bathing hundreds of surrounding meters in purple illumination. Ding! Altar of Thunder War God construction complete. You have unlocked Epic Rank Troop, Thunder War God. The instant the system prompt finished, the thunder orb atop the altar burst apart. 20 towering figures 3 meters tall, clad in heavy purple lightning rod armor, strode forth from roiling lightning. Each bore rippling muscle, gripping dark purple Thor's hammers half their own height, crackling with terrifying electric arcs. Every step they took blasted small craters into the ground, purple currents snaking outward across soil and stone. 20 overwhelming auras merged as one, like 20 erupting thunder volcanoes, freezing the air across the training grounds. We pay homage to our liege lord. All 20 Thunder War Gods dropped to one knee simultaneously. Their unified roar boomed like 20 concurrent thunderclaps, ringing painfully in the ears. Rise. Lin Yi lifted his hand slightly. Show me your strength. Yes. The lead Thunder War God stood and turned toward the 100-jong stone boulder used for attack testing in the training ground center. He drew a deep breath and raised his Thor's hammer high. Purple lightning coalesced violently across its surface, growing almost solid. The next instant, he brought the hammer crashing down. Boom. An earth-shattering detonation shook everything. Thor's hammer slammed full force against the boulder. Centered on the point of impact, 100-meter-wide ground caved inward, opening a vast bottomless crater in the middle of the training grounds. That 100-jong solid stone boulder did not endure even a single second, reduced to fine drifting dust. Purple lightning erupted outward from the hammer, snaking forth like thunder serpents. Crack, crack, crack. Over 100 refined iron test stakes ringing the training grounds did not survive a single breath. Struck by chaining lightning, they melted into molten metal. Even flying stone fragments were fused into glass-like crystals by searing lightning, glittering harshly under sunlight. This was merely a basic hammer strike. Total devastation across a 100-meter radius. Staring at the massive crater, Lin Yi nodded approvingly. Excellent. You shall be our spearhead for future sieges and conquests. The 20 Thunder War Gods bowed once more in acknowledgement, armor plates clanking in perfect unison. Lin Yi glanced at his system inventory. Still resting within were the legendary hero summon card, mystery grand prize chest, 2 epic grade pieces of equipment, plus Abyss Demon Realm blueprints and demon cores. There was no rush opening these rewards right away. He instructed Selithis to integrate Thunder War Gods into military ranks, have them familiarize themselves with territory layout, and begin joint combat drills alongside Saint Flame Dragon Guards and Silver Moon Gale Archers. Newly obtained troops needed time to coordinate. Just as Lin Yi prepared to stand and inspect beast-tide materials stored in warehouses. Suddenly, boom, 3 vast, boundless divine senses descended unannounced from the heavens above. Like 3 invisible primeval sacred mountains, they pressed down with overwhelming might. In an instant, air across the entire territory solidified. Fine cracks spread across Fortress of Eternal Ice's icy blue walls, as if they might collapse at any moment. Golden flames atop the 16 Holy Flame defense towers flickered wildly under the pressure, nearly snuffing out entirely. All silver-blue leaves upon the territory's world tree hung limp, as if paying homage to some supreme existence. The sacred flame core atop the Saint Flame Dragon Guard altar trembled violently, groaning under unbearable strain. Within the territory, gray dwarves collapsed trembling to the ground, unable to move a single finger. Silver Moon elves prostrated themselves, emerald eyes filled with soul-deep dread. Gale archers dropped to one knee, barely able to keep hold of their longbows. Even the 10 myth-rank Saint Flame Dragon Guards shrank their golden dragon pupils, folded their wings instinctively, and hunched their bodies low beneath this divine pressure. This was absolute suppression stemming from difference in life hierarchy. Like ants facing divine dragons, mortals facing true gods. Inside the Lord's Manor Hall, Linya's pupils shrank sharply. His fingers slowly clenched, knuckles whitening from strain. He could distinctly feel how ancient and timeless these three divine senses were, surpassing every foe he had ever met. Compared to these three, even peak legend rank Selene, Apostle of the Moon, was like a firefly beside the bright moon. No, there was no comparison at all. Should they harbor hostile intent? With but a single thought, this territory he had labored 3 days to build, together with himself, would vanish without trace. Just what caliber of beings are these? Linya's heart hammered wildly, his chest aching. In his past life, he had died too early to ever encounter power of this caliber. Yet realization struck swiftly. Beings capable of projecting divine sense across space to envelope an entire territory. Only one possibility. Floating Island Lords. And not ordinary ones. Veteran floating island lords who had stood atop the summit for countless years, possessing unfathomable power. Linya drew a deep breath and steadied his racing heart. He understood. If such mighty beings chose to manifest via divine sense projection instead of striking directly, they held no hostile intent. At least for now. He kept his composure, hands clasped behind his back, waiting silently for them to speak. Unshaken by cataclysmic pressure, his bearing remained steady. An aged, steady voice pierced through space and resounded directly inside Linya's mind. Such a young mortal, yet you stand firm beneath the divine pressure of our three presences? Truly intriguing. As the voice faded, 3 translucent phantoms materialized within the Lord's Manor Hall. To the left stood a man clad in golden battle robes, stern-faced, radiating the slaughter-tempered aura of a seasoned conqueror. His presence blazed like a scorching sun, raising hall temperatures many-fold merely by his presence. In the center stood a man in cyan robes, lean-faced, eyes deep as star-filled abysses. His aura was calm and restrained yet unfathomable, like a bottomless chasm whose depths one could never measure. To the right stood a woman clad in snow-white robes of unearthly beauty, faint starlight swirling around her figure. Cold and ethereal, she seemed like a moon goddess untethered to mortal world, an ancient divinity governing the stars. Though merely divine sense projections, they carried an aura of overlooking all living things, as though the very ground they occupied was the center of all creation. Linya's gaze swept over each of them in turn. Storm shock raged within his mind. Floating Island Lords. 3 floating island lords. Judging by their auras, every single one far exceeded anything he had imagined. He forced down the shock surging inside him, gave a slight cupped fist salute, and spoke in a steady tone. Junior Linya, greetings to the 3 seniors. I wonder what brings the 3 of you here. What counsel do you have for me? His bearing was neither obsequious nor arrogant. He did not bow and scrape merely because of their overwhelming power, nor did he put on an overbearing show of self-importance. A flicker of approval crossed the golden-robed island lord's eyes. He nodded faintly and cut straight to the point. There is no need for you to be on edge, young friend. The 3 of us are the 3 island lords of Blue Star. We have come today to discuss a matter of great importance with you. Linya's mind stirred. So they really were the island lords. His thoughts raced, yet his outward expression remained calm as he listened quietly. The golden-robed island lord continued, his voice heavy with gravity. In 27 days, the Blue Star server will officially merge with the 10,000 Races server. Upon hearing this, Linya's mind stirred once more. He had received news of this event a little over a day ago. Had these 3 island lords come for this server merger? The Blue Star server was only a newly launched server. The 10,000 Races server, on the other hand, as its name suggested, it was a super server that gathered countless races and civilizations. Once the merger took place, players from Blue Star would come face-to-face with powerhouses from all races across the cosmos. What did that mean? It was equivalent to players from a novice village being suddenly thrown into a main city teeming with max-level elites. Before the merger begins, there will be the 10,000 Races trial. The green-robed island lord took over the conversation, his tone composed. Each new server receives exactly 1 participant slot. The ranking achieved in this trial will directly determine Blue Star's initial status and resource allocation among the 10,000 races after the merger. The higher the rank, the greater the resources and the higher the starting standing. If the rank is low, he paused and did not finish his sentence. Yet Linya already understood the implication. A poor ranking would leave Blue Star in a disadvantaged position among all the cosmic races. Resources would be squeezed, status would be trampled down. Worse still, Blue Star might even become a vassal subject to other races. The green-robed island lord looked at Lin Yi, appreciation shining in his gaze. We have observed your combat records. Cleared the Helltide in 47 minutes. Defeated a peak legendary rank boss in 3 strikes. Only 3 days since launch, yet your territory has already reached a scale most ordinary players cannot attain even in a month. Among this batch of new players, he spoke slowly, his tone resolute. You are the only one qualified to represent Blue Star in the trial. The white-robed woman's voice was cold as frost, carrying unassailable finality. We intend to grant you this sole slot. A short silence fell over the hall. Lin Yi stood rooted to the spot, his mind racing at high speed. The 10,000 races trial? He had died far too early in his previous life and had never come into contact with information at such a level. Still, he quickly grasped all the stakes involved. This was not merely a matter of glory for Blue Star. It was also an enormous opportunity to compete against prodigies from every race across the cosmos. The rewards from such a trial would surely far surpass anything obtainable within the bounds of the floating islands. Furthermore, should he secure a high rank in the trial, Blue Star would enjoy a superior initial standing after the server merger. The benefits he would reap as Blue Star's representative were beyond imagination. The risks were immense, yet the potential rewards were even greater. Lin Yi drew a deep breath and steadied his surging emotions. He lifted his gaze toward the 3 figures and spoke in a calm, resolute voice. I accept this slot, seniors. The 3 island lords exchanged glances, each seeing satisfaction reflected in the other's eyes. Such poise and bearing were hardly what one would expect from a player only 3 days into the server launch. The golden-robed island lord let out a hearty, booming laugh. Well done. You have true mettle. We knew we had placed our faith in the right person. The green-robed island lord nodded faintly, a faint smile tugging at the corners of his mouth. Though the white-robed woman's face remained impassive, a flicker of approval glinted deep within her eyes. The golden-robed island lord's laughter faded, and his tone turned solemn. Nevertheless, you must understand the truth of what lies ahead. The 10,000 races trial will be filled with formidable competitors. Every race across the cosmos will send forth their most outstanding prodigies. Among them are innately sacred races whose members start out at mythic rank or even higher. Your current strength places you among the top-tier new players. Yet among the prodigies of the 10,000 races, you would rank only in the mid to lower tier. Lin Yi raised an eyebrow slightly. Mid to lower tier? He possessed mythic rank heroine Silas, legendary rank heroine Aurelia, mythic rank unit Holy Flame Dragon Guards, and legendary rank unit Gale Archers. On top of that, he held 3 top-tier traits: Warlord, Universal Blessing, and Lunar Grace, alongside his ace card of War Sacrifice from the War Altar. With such a lineup, he was still merely mid to lower tier? Just how powerful were these prodigies from other cosmic races? Instead of feeling fear, a fierce fighting spirit ignited deep within Lin Yi's heart. The stronger the opponents, the richer the trial rewards would be. A slow smile curved his lips. Mid to lower tier, you say? That suits me perfectly. I have always relished turning the tables against overwhelming odds. Watching the burning resolve in Lin Yi's eyes, the 3 island lords traded glances once more, surprise plain upon their thoughts. This young man felt no dread. Instead, he grew even more fired up. The golden-robed island lord stared for a moment before bursting into thunderous laughter. Ha ha! Excellent! What a will to stage an upset. With such spirit, our journey here has not been in vain. Since you have accepted the slot, the 3 of us shall not leave you to fight alone. The instant his voice faded, a thunderous roar shook the air. 3 surging divine wills resonated at once. Torrents of endless resources poured down out of the void. Basic resources arrived first. Ding! You have obtained times 100,000,000 lumber. Ding! You have obtained times 100,000,000 stone. Ding! You have obtained times 100,000,000 refined iron. Ding! You have obtained times 200,000,000 food. Line after line of system notifications flooded Lin Yi's mind. Numbers on his resource panel rocketed upward before his very eyes, climbing from hundreds of thousands to millions, to tens of millions, and finally hitting the 100 million mark. Lin Yi's breath hitched. 100 million lumber, 100 million stone, 100 million refined iron, 200 million food. Before this gift, The sum total of all his possessions had only amounted to tens of millions in basic resources. This single influx multiplied his stock many times over. With these resources, he could expand his territory several times in scale. Yet this was only the beginning. The next moment, ding! You have obtained times 500,000,000 gold coins. 500 million gold coins. Lin Ye's pupils constricted sharply. Shortly after, building blueprints radiating multicolored light streaked down from the void like shooting stars, hovering neatly in front of him. Most eye-catching of all were 10 scrolls glowing with milky white radiance. Legendary grade advanced residence, blueprint times 10. Each residence raises territory population cap by 300. 10 copies. Lin Ye's breathing grew heavier. Population cap was precisely the bottleneck hindering his development. He possessed abundant resources and gold, yet without sufficient population cap, he could not recruit more troops nor more production units. He was like a wealthy man sitting atop mountains of treasure with no way to spend it. These 10 legendary-grade blueprints would add 3,000 total population cap, multiplying his available population many times over. With this new population pool, he could summon more Holy Flame Dragon Guards, more Gale Archers, and more production personnel. The overall strength of his territory would undergo a qualitative leap. Lin Yi stared at the blueprints before him, lost for words. The island lords wielded astonishing generosity, pinpointing exactly what he lacked most. Beyond these, Diamond-grade Resource Amplification Tower Blueprint times 3 boost all territory resource output efficiency by 100% per tower. 3 towers, each granting a 100% boost, combining for a 300% total increase in resource output. Lin Ye's eyes lit up. This was a long-term development game-changer. Resource accumulation would triple, letting his power snowball further and further as time passed. Epic-grade Defense Tower Upgrade Scroll times 20. Promote any defense tower directly to epic rank. 20 scrolls of epic quality. Lin Yi drew in a sharp breath. He currently held 16 diamond rank blaze defense towers. With these scrolls, he could upgrade all 16 to epic rank, each tower boasting firepower comparable to an epic rank hero. A full volley from all 16 would wear down even mythic rank units. 4 scrolls remained for future defense tower construction. Scrolls and artifacts hung in the air, emanating imposing energy. Every single item would send ordinary players into a frenzy of greed. Even with 2 lifetimes of experience behind him, Lin Ye's pulse raced, gazing at the mountain of resources and blueprints. His developmental speed would soar, and his confidence for the 10,000 races trial grew considerably. Once all gifts had been delivered, the divine wills of the 3 island lords began to fade, their figures growing translucent. The golden-robed island lord spoke his final words. Young friend, countless powerful competitors await within the 10,000 races trial. Act with great caution. The future of Blue Star rests upon your shoulders. The green-robed island lord nodded gravely. Should you face mortal peril, crush this talisman. The 3 of us shall come to your rescue once. A cyan talisman drifted out of the void and landed softly in Lin Ye's palm, carved with intricate runes and thrumming with faint spatial energy. The white-robed woman said nothing. She only gave Lin Yi a deep glance, as if peering through time to glimpse some unwritten fate. Then the 3 vast divine wills receded like an ebbing tide, vanishing over the horizon. The crushing pressure dissipated, and peace returned to the territory, as if the astounding spectacle had been nothing but an illusion. Yet the cyan talisman in Lin Ye's palm and the mountain of resources and blueprints before him bore witness that every moment had been real. Lin Yi stood motionless in the center of the Lord's Hall for a long while. At last, he slowly clenched his fist, burning resolve and ambition blazing in his eyes, a hunger for even greater heights stirring within him. 10,000 races, the 10,000 races trial, he muttered under his breath, barely containing his excitement. He lifted his gaze, piercing through the hall's roof toward the floating island's central zone. But before all that, I will seize this floating island first. His voice rang steady and firm. Tomorrow, mass troop production begins. Holy Flame Dragon Guards, Silver Moon Gale Archers, Thunder Warriors, produce them at full capacity. The population cap bottleneck is solved. Resources are plentiful, and gold flows without limit. He raised his head sharply, his gaze sharp as a blade cutting through the sky. Launch a full-scale assault on the island's central zone ahead of schedule. I will seize the entire floating island within 3 days. The 3 vast divine wills dissolved completely between heaven and earth. The suffocating pressure within the Lord's Hall receded like retreating floodwaters. Stagnant air flowed once more. Outside the courtyard came the heavy, ragged breathing of gray dwarfs. Lin Yi stood still, the cyan talisman resting in his palm, faint cool spatial energy lingering against his fingertips. He could sense the pure spatial power sealed within it. Crushing it would call forth the might of the three island lords across endless void space. It was a lifeline for moments of certain death. Lin Yi took a deep breath and carefully stored the talisman deep inside his system backpack. He glanced around the hall, where piles of resources and blueprints shimmered with varied light. These gifts from the island lords would drive ordinary players mad with envy. Lin Yi did not rush to process them. Instead, his attention shifted to another corner of his backpack, where several unexamined rewards from clearing the Helltide lay in wait. 2 dark purple pieces of equipment, a pitch-black card etched with silver patterns, and an ancient, sinister dark purple scroll. These were the items he intended to inspect first. I shall sort through the tide-clearing rewards first, Lin Yi murmured to himself. He stowed the island lord's massive gifts securely in his territory warehouse. He reached into his backpack and drew out the first item. A hum vibrated through the air as dark purple light bloomed in his palm. It was a cloak, its fabric woven as though from congealed abyss demonic flame. Black fire flickered silently along its edges, yet emitted no heat. Embroidered on its back with dark red thread was a giant vertical pupil sigil, which seemed alive, light swirling within its shape. Staring too long at it gave the uncanny sensation that one's very soul might be drawn inside. Lin Yi quickly looked away. He could feel terrifying dark power contained within the cloak, not corrupting evil darkness, but pure, all-destroying abyss force. He called up its property panel. Equipment: Abyss Demonic Flame Cloak, Grade, Epic, Type, Cloak, Damage plus 30%, Constitution plus 250, Spirit plus 200. Passive 1. Abyss Demonic Flame. All attacks apply Abyss Demonic Flame Burn, dealing 50% of attack power as dark flame damage per second for 5 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. Passive 2. Demonic Flame Aegis. Upon taking damage, 30% chance to trigger Demonic Flame Aegis, reflecting 30% of incoming damage back to the attacker. Reflection effect doubles against light-aligned units. Active: Abyss Eruption. Unleash an Abyss Demonic Flame Shockwave, dealing 500% attack power area of effect damage to all enemies within 500 meters, and apply 3 stacks of Abyss Demonic Flame. Cooldown: 5 minutes. Reading through its stats, Lin Yi's eyes brightened. This epic-grade equipment lived fully up to its reputation. Its base attributes far outstripped any gear he had previously seen. What truly captured his interest were its 3 special effects. Abyss Demonic Flame dealt sustained damage of 50% attack power per second, stackable 5 times, for a total of 250% attack power damage per second at maximum stacks. Foes caught within its effect would burn away even without further strikes. Demonic Flame Aegis's reflect effect meant light-aligned units, such as clerics and paladins, could injure themselves through attacking him. Its active ability, Abyss Eruption, delivered massive 500% attack power area of effect damage across a 500-meter radius while applying burn stacks, practically granting him a personal Forbidden class spell. Lin Yi's thoughts raced, and he reached a quick decision. This cloak belonged to Silas. No other unit was better suited for it. Silas wielded the supreme holy flame of the Holy Flame Dragon Emperor, a righteous fire that incinerated all evil. The Abyss Demonic Flame represented dark destruction. Though opposing in nature, the 2 forces could complement each other. Their combination would produce effects far greater than simple addition, drastically amplifying Silas's area of effect combat power. Acting on his thought, Lin Yi sent a call through their soul bond. Within mere breaths, the sound of wind cut through the air outside the hall. Silas appeared in the doorway, golden vertical pupils holding faint confusion. Lord Liege, you summoned me? She had just overseen the integration of Thunder Warrior units, and still wore her battle armor. Golden dragon scales glinted under candlelight, dragon wings half-folded behind her, her whole bearing valiant and imposing. Lin Yi wasted no words and held out the dark purple cloak. This is for you. Try it on. Silas blinked in surprise, stepped forward, knelt upon one knee, and accepted the cloak with both hands. The moment her fingers touched it, dark purple light surged violently. The cloak moved as though sentient, floating from her grasp to settle naturally across her shoulders, adjusting its size to merge seamlessly with her dragon scale armor. Golden holy flame rising from Silas's back intertwined with the black, demonic fire flickering along the cloak's hem. Gold and dark purple clashed and swirled around her. The air hissed and corroded under the contact of these 2 extreme forces. Instead of canceling one another out, the two flames fused into an unprecedented bichromatic purple-gold fire. It burned quietly, yet radiated terrifying power, as though it bore the dual might to burn down gods and devour the abyss itself. Silas closed her eyes, feeling the surging new power flowing within her. After a short moment, she opened them, and a flicker of dark purple demonic flame flashed within her golden vertical pupils. "My lord, this cloak, it is incredibly powerful." Her voice held a trace of barely suppressed excitement. As the Saint Flame Dragon Empress, she possessed the sharpest perception of fire. She could clearly sense that with this cloak, her fire damage had more than doubled. Moreover, the continuous burning property of the abyssal demonic flame perfectly made up for the Saint Flame's flaw of fierce bursts but poor sustained output. The two combined, and the result was nothing short of perfect. Lin Yi nodded in satisfaction as he watched the purple and gold flames swirling behind her. "Not bad. From now on, your Saint Flame gains another layer of variation. When facing light-aligned foes, the demonic flame's counter-damage will bring you quite a few surprises." Silas nodded heavily and dropped to one knee once more. "I thank my lord for this precious gift." Lin Yi raised his hand slightly, signaling her to rise. The first epic-grade equipment had been distributed. Its effects exceeded his expectations. Without pausing, he reached into his backpack once again. He drew forth the second epic-grade piece of equipment. This time, what rested in his palm was a pendant, a dark purple gem pendant. The gem was roughly the size of a pigeon's egg, deep dark purple all through. Most eerie of all was the slowly swirling vortex trapped inside the gem, bottomless, as if an entire abyss lay sealed within it. One glance was enough to make one seem to hear countless wronged souls wailing and weeping deep inside. The pendant's chain was forged from an unknown black metal. Every link was carved with fine runes, dim dark purple light flowing across them. The whole pendant exuded a gloomy, cold, and mysterious aura. It was utterly different from the destructive fury of the abyssal demonic flame cloak. This piece of gear felt more like a venomous serpent lurking in the shadows. It would stay hidden until the moment it struck, and that strike would be fatal. Lin Yi opened its stat panel. Equipment: Eye of the Abyss Stare, Rank, Epic, Type, Accessory Pendant, Damage plus 35%, Agility plus 350, Critical Rate plus 20%. Passive 1, Abyss Stare. Attacks have a 25% chance to trigger Abyss Stare, reducing the target's defense by 50% and movement speed by 30%, lasting 3 seconds. Passive 2, Shadow Stealth. Automatically enter stealth 5 seconds after leaving combat. First attack out of stealth deals plus 200% damage. Active, Abyss Rift. Open a 100-meter diameter Abyss Rift at the target location, lasting 5 seconds. All enemies inside take continuous corrosive damage and are slowed by 80%. Cooldown: 8 minutes. After reading through its stats, Lin Yi did not hesitate for a second over who should receive it. Aurelia. No one suited it better. 35% extra damage, 350 agility points, 20% critical rate. Every single one of these attributes was top tier for a ranged physical damage dealer. Yet the 3 special effects were what truly mattered. Abyss Stare offered armor break and slow. A 50% defense reduction meant every arrow Aurelia loosed would deal damage close to true damage. The 30% slow further pinned enemies in place, turning them into stationary targets. Shadow Stealth granted stealth, automatically turning invisible 5 seconds after leaving combat, with the first attack dealing double base damage. This was a god-tier ability tailor-made for assassins and ranged snipers. Imagine the scene. Aurelia lurked unseen in the shadows, completely hidden from her foes. She gathered all her strength and loosed her mightiest arrow. Add the 200% damage bonus to piercing arrow's native 300% attack multiplier. How terrifying would that single shot become? Even a legendary rank boss would risk being pierced straight through by such an arrow. As for the active ability Abyss Rift, 100-meter wide area slow combined with continuous damage. 80% slow was practically immobilizing foes. Whether used to split battlefields or trap fleeing enemies, it was a supreme skill. Coupled with Moon Goddess-size extreme range, the armor-breaking and slowing of Abyss Stare, and the burst sneak attack from Shadow Stealth. A ranged assassin-style Aurelia was fully forged. On future battlefields, foes would be struck down by an arrow through the heart before they even caught a glimpse of her silhouette. Aurelia. Lin Yi called out once more through their soul link. "I am here, my liege." Almost the instant his voice faded, Aurelia appeared at the gates of the Lord's Manor. Her speed was even greater than Silas. As an agility-focused hero, high mobility was her greatest strength. Seeing the dark purple pendant in Lin Yi's palm, emerald eyes lit up faintly. She could feel the power contained within resonating perfectly with her own aura. Lin Yi held the pendant out toward her. "This is for you. Put it on and test it." Aurelia stepped forward, knelt on one knee, and accepted the pendant with both hands. Her fingers trembled slightly. As an archer, she instinctively craved equipment that boosted range damage and stealth capabilities. She gently fastened the pendant around her fair neck. Cold metal pressed against her skin. The next moment, the dark purple gem on the pendant blazed to life. Dim, gloomy light surged out from the gem, flowing down her neck and spreading across her whole body. Aurelia's aura underwent a strange transformation. Her presence grew blurred, as though she was merging into the surrounding shadows. Without direct visual observation, one would barely perceive a person stood there at all. A flicker of purple light flashed deep within her emerald eyes. Her already cool bearing grew sharper and icier, like a dagger sheathed in its scabbard, quiet until drawn, and certain to spill blood once unleashed. She could distinctly feel her agility surge greatly. Draw speed, movement speed, reaction speed, all had improved by a substantial margin. An intuition told her she could melt into shadow at will, vanishing from all sight. The sensation of commanding shadow filled her with deep fascination. "I thank my lord for this precious gift." Aurelia bowed deeply, her tone brimming with barely contained excitement. Lin Yi smiled with satisfaction as he watched the wispy shadow aura clinging to her figure. Both epic-grade pieces of equipment had gone to the most suitable recipients. Scylla's area of effect and frontline combat power had risen sharply. Aurelia's ranged burst and sneak attack capabilities had undergone a fundamental transformation. Both of his top generals had stepped up to a whole new power level. Yet this was not all. Lin Yi's gaze drifted back to his system backpack. Buried deep within lay an entirely black card shimmering with faint silver radiance. A legendary-grade hero summon card. This was one of the most anticipated rewards from the Beast Tide. He already possessed Scylla and Aurelia. One dominated frontline combat, the other excelled at ranged combat. Yet his roster still had a gap. He lacked a high-burst assassin capable of striking down enemy commanders amid thousands of troops. A sharp blade that could sneak, ambush, and instantly eliminate key enemy targets. This legendary-grade hero summon card might well fill that final gap in his forces. Without hesitation, Lin Yi took the card out. Jet black as ink, silver shadow-themed runes crawled across its surface like living creatures. On the front was a blurry silhouette of an assassin wrapped in thick black mist. No facial features could be seen, only cold purple vertical pupils. On the reverse side were patterns of a crescent moon paired with two crossed daggers, ancient and mysterious. Simply holding it sent frigid killing intent washing over Lin Yi, the quiet menace of a predator in darkness waiting for the killing blow. Even his own shadow trembled faintly, half awe, half exhilaration. "Use." Lin Yi activated it with a thought. "Are you certain you wish to use the legendary-grade hero summon card?" "Yes." The instant the reply left his mouth. The black card dissolved into a stream of black light in his palm, shooting out of the Lord's manor at terrifying speed. The stream landed on the open training ground. The next second, boom, dense, tangible shadow energy erupted violently. In an instant, the entire training ground was swallowed by endless darkness. This was no ordinary shadow. It was true abyssal shadow that devoured light itself. The 20 Thunder Warriors training nearby all shuddered. Their lightning glows dimmed, suppressed by this shadow energy. Thunder Warriors were epic, grade units wielding mighty yang, aligned lightning, naturally effective against evil beings, yet even they were suppressed. That spoke volumes of how pure and terrifying this shadow energy was. Within the darkness, a slender figure gradually took shape. First came a pair of eyes, purple vertical pupils, frigid, devoid of human emotion, like eternal ice or a serpent coiled deep within the abyss. Then long black hair cascaded down to her waist, drifting softly amid the shadow. Next came her frame, a woman, tall and slender, yet brimming with explosive power. She wore tight, fitting black assassin's attire that suited her athletic build. The material was neither silk nor leather, faint dark, purple runes flickering across its surface. In her hands were two oddly shaded shadow daggers, roughly 1 foot long, with curved blades wreathed in thin black mist. Droplets of pitch black liquid dripped from the dagger tips. Where they struck the stone ground, sounds echoed, corroding small pits into the hard flagstones. Black mist swirled around her. She stood there, yet seemed barely present in this world. Light bent and twisted as it neared her body. She dropped to one knee, right hand pressed over her chest. bowing her head toward the Lord's manor. Her voice was cold as night, as though echoing up from the netherworld. Shadow Elf, Nightmare. I answer your call. I greet my lord. Ding. You have summoned the legendary grade hero, Shadow Assassin Nightmare. Loyalty, 100 system, bound. Will never betray you. Lin Yi appeared at the edge of the training ground. He stared at the slender figure kneeling amid shadow, satisfaction flashing across his eyes. Her imposing entrance alone told him this hero was extraordinary. He opened Nightmare's stat sheet with a thought. Hero, Nightmare. Rank, Legendary. Race, Shadow Elf. Class, Shadow Assassin. Level 1. Talent 1, Shadow Stealth. Permanently invisible. Becomes visible upon attacking or taking damage. Enter stealth 3 seconds after leaving combat. Movement speed plus 50% while stealthed. Talent 2, Lethal Strike. Critical rate plus 30%. Critical damage plus 150%. Attacks from behind are guaranteed critical hits. Talent 3, Shadow Step. Teleport instantly behind a target. Cooldown, 10 seconds. Skill 1, Shadow Slay. Deal 800% attack power shadow damage to a single target, guaranteed critical hit. Cooldown, 15 seconds. Skill 2, Shadow Storm. Unleash a shadow storm centered on yourself. Deal 500% attack power area of effect damage to all enemies within 100 meters and blind them for 3 seconds. Cooldown, 60 seconds. Skill 3, Death Mark. Mark a target. All damage the target receives increases by 50%, lasting 10 seconds. Cooldown, 30 seconds. Line after line of statistics unfolded before him, and Lin Ye's eyes brightened more and more. This was the perfect assassin template he had dreamed of. Permanent stealth. Not like Aurelia's stealth that required 5 seconds out of combat to activate. She was perpetually hidden. Only attacking or receiving damage would reveal her form. 3 seconds out of combat, and she vanished again. 50% extra movement speed while invisible. What did that mean? So long as Nightmare wished it, foes would never detect her position. She could lurk endlessly in darkness, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Then there was Lethal Strike. 30% critical rate, 150% critical damage bonus. Most terrifying of all, attacks from behind always crit. Combine that with Shadow Step, teleporting straight behind opponents. Every strike would land as a critical hit. Deadly, every single time. Shadow Step was another god-tier skill. A 10-second cooldown teleport directly behind targets. Great for offense or escape, granting extreme mobility. Her 3 skills were equally impressive. Shadow Slay dealt 800% attack, power single, target shadow damage, and guaranteed a critical hit. 800% skill multiplier, compounded by critical hit multipliers and the rear attack bonus. One strike could unleash explosive damage. Even tanky bosses would lose huge chunks of their health from a single blow. Shadow Storm delivered 500% attack, power area, of effect damage and 3-second blindness. Blindness meant enemies could not see anything for 3 seconds. All their attacks would miss. In large-scale battles, this was a game-changing ability. Unleash it, and all foes caught in range were rendered helpless. Death Mark was an excellent team-oriented damage boost. Mark a target and raise all incoming damage against it by 50%. Place it on a boss, and every ally's damage surged by half. Boss, fighting speed improved drastically. Lin Yi grew increasingly pleased. Nightmare was born for decapitation missions. Devastating single, target burst, peak mobility, team-wide damage amplification, and crowd control. The gap in his roster had been perfectly filled. Rise. Lin Yi lifted his hand slightly. I thank my lord. Nightmare stood. Her movements were so light they made no sound. Once upright, her figure blurred once more, ready to melt back into shadow at any moment. Show me your strength. Lin Yi pointed toward a newly replaced test stone pillar in the center of the training ground. Forged from black iron, 3 meters in diameter and 10 zhang tall, it was extremely hard, built exclusively for testing hero attack power. Nightmare nodded silently. The next instant, she vanished on the spot without the slightest warning. Even with Lin Ye's sharp eyes, he could not track her movement. Her stealth capability was frightening. A faint, almost inaudible crunch echoed a moment later. The immensely tough black iron pillar in the training ground center snapped cleanly in two. The upper half slid down and crashed heavily onto the ground with a deep rumble. The cut surface was as smooth as a mirror, as though sliced apart by the sharpest blade in existence. Nightmare stood behind the broken pillar, her twin daggers crossed in front of her, before she slid them back into their waist sheaths. From vanishing to severing the pillar took less than 0.1 seconds. Lin Yi had not even seen her attack unfold. The 20 Thunder Warriors nearby all drew sharp breaths. They prided themselves on their formidable defense and earth-shattering hammer strikes. Yet if they had faced that attack, they were unsure they could react in time. Their heads might well be severed before they realized what had happened. That was the terror of an assassin, silent until action, and every strike a killing blow. Lin Yi looked at the broken black, iron pillar and nodded with satisfaction. Well done. Decapitation and surprise. Assault missions shall henceforth be yours. To claim an enemy general's head amid 10,000 troops ought to pose no difficulty for you. Nightmare knelt once more, her voice cool and resolute. This subordinate shall not fail, my lord. I can bring you any foe's head whenever you command. Lin Yi laughed aloud. With such an assassin in his ranks, great undertakings were well within reach. His roster of heroes was now largely complete. Even against myth-rank bosses, he possessed the strength to stand his ground. Nightmare was temporarily assigned to the training ground to grow familiar with the other units. Afterwards, Lin Yi's gaze fell to the deepest corner of his system backpack. There lay the last major reward, a dark, purple scroll radiating ancient, evil energy. The Abyss Demon Realm Construction Blueprint. Lin Yi drew forth the scroll. Deep dark, purple in color, its material was neither paper nor hide, its origin unknown. Dense abyssal runes crawled across its surface as if alive. He unfurled it slowly. Indescribable evil power poured out. Faint wails of tormented souls and the roar of demonic flames drifted from within, as if this were not a blueprint but a gateway leading down into the abyss. Lin Yi raised an eyebrow and opened its property panel. Construction Blueprint, Abyss Demon Realm. Rank, Epic Special Domain, Type Building. Construction Requirements. Wood 8 million, stone 6 million, fine iron 4 million, gold coins 10 million, Abyss Demon Core ×1. Core Effect 1, Abyss Domain. Activate to unfold a 10,000-meter radius Abyss Domain. All enemy units within the domain suffer 40% reduced all stats and take continuous corrosive damage equal to 10% of your attack power each second. Domain lasts 1 hour. Cooldown, 24 hours. Core Effect 2, Demon Realm Blessing. All allied units within your territory deal 100% increased damage against dark, aligned, and undead monsters, and take 50% reduced damage from dark, aligned sources. Core Effect 3, Abyss Furnace. Monster corpses and materials from slain foes may be fed into the furnace to refine Abyss Demon Crystals. Abyss Demon Crystals can temporarily raise unit rank max +1 rank, lasts 2 hours, or repair buildings and equipment. After reading the 3 core effects, Lin Yi's breathing quickened slightly. This was a strategic, level weapon of war. First, Abyss Domain. A 10,000-meter radius, large enough to envelop an entire large-scale battlefield. Inside the domain, every enemy lost 40% of all attributes, nearly having their combat power. They also took continuous damage every second for a full hour. Imagine the next beast, Tide Invasion. Activate Abyss Domain. Hordes of monsters would enter the zone and immediately have their strength crippled, while steadily losing health. Paired with his territory's defense towers and armies, those monsters would be nothing more than easy prey. This single ability drastically elevated his territory's defensive capacity. Activate it for major battles or beast-tide sieges, and the enemy would be severely weakened from the start. Second, Demon Realm Blessing. Double damage against dark, aligned, and undead foes, and halved incoming dark element damage. When facing undead hordes or abyssal incursions, his troops would hold total dominance. Enemies that gave other lords endless trouble became nothing more than experience sources for him. Third, the Abyss Furnace. Seemingly unremarkable at first glance, yet potentially more valuable than the other 2 effects combined. It turned waste into treasure. From now on, countless monster corpses left on battlefields would no longer go to waste. Toss them all into the furnace and refine Abyss Demon Crystals. Abyss Demon Crystals can temporarily raise unit rank by a maximum of +1 tier for 2 hours. What did that mean? His Holy Flame Dragon Guards were already mythic tier. Another +1 tier, what rank would that be? He dared not even imagine. Even when used on Thunder War gods, raising epic tier units by 1 tier would grant them combat power on par with peak legendary rank. Just think about it. The next time he faced an overwhelming foe, boost every single one of his units by 1 tier temporarily. How terrifying would the combat power erupting at that moment be? On top of that, these crystals could also repair buildings and equipment. They were simply an all purpose strategic resource. Lin Yi grew more eager the more he thought about it. This building had to be constructed. Right now? He glanced at the construction requirements. 8 million wood, 6 million stone, 4 million fine iron, 10 million gold coins. For him, who had just received the resource gifts from the floating island lord, these resources meant nothing. As for the Abyss Demon Core, Lin Yi's gaze drifted to the corner of his backpack. It was the material dropped by the final boss of the Hell, Grade Beast Tide First Kill, and he happened to possess exactly one. Everything was ready. Construct the Abyss Demon Realm. Without the slightest hesitation, Lin Yi issued the construction order. Do you wish to consume 8 million wood, 6 million stone, 4 million fine iron, 10 million gold coins, 1 times Abyss Demon Core to build the epic, grade building, Abyss Demon Realm? Confirm. The instant his voice faded. Buzz. A dark, purple pillar of light shot skyward from the western side of the territory. Dozens of zhang in diameter, it pierced straight into the clouds, dyeing half the sky an eerie dark violet. The nearby gray dwarves could even see countless wailing souls and burning demonic flames swirling within the pillar. The ground shook violently. Boom, rumble. Giant fissures tore open across the ground centered on the pillar of light. Countless black demon stones materialized out of thin air. Each stone was as large as a millstone, pitch black, with dark, purple runes flowing across their surfaces. Guided by an invisible giant hand, the stones floated in the air, stacking, combining, and locking into place. A towering black fortress rose into view at a visible rate. Its 100 zhang high walls were built entirely from black demon stone, exuding a cold, sinister aura. Tall spires jutted out along the ramparts. Black demonic flames burned atop every spire. These flames gave off no heat. Instead, they radiated a bone, chilling cold. At the fortress's heart stood an even taller main tower. Suspended above its peak was a massive dark, purple crystal. A huge vortex swirled slowly inside the crystal, identical to the gems set in his pendant. This was the core of the Abyss domain. Faint black mist swirled around the fortress. Wherever the mist drifted, weeds withered, turned black, and crumbled into black ash before one's eyes. Such was the power of the Abyss. Where it passed, all things perished. The whole construction process lasted roughly a quarter of an hour. When the final demon stone settled into position, boom, a ring of dark, purple energy rippled outward in all directions from the Abyss Demon Realm. Space trembled faintly in its wake. Ding. Epic, grade building. Abyss Demon Realm construction complete. Core effects activated. You have unlocked building function, Abyss Furnace. You have unlocked domain skill, Abyss Domain. A string of system notifications echoed in his mind. Standing before the Lord's Manor, Lin Yi gazed far out at the black fortress rising in the western territory. Beneath the setting sun, the fortress cast an enormous shadow. The area covered by this shadow was several times larger than his entire Lord's Manor. Sinister, ancient, mighty. This was the Abyss Demon Realm. A strategic, level weapon had now become part of his territory. A faint smile tugged at the corner of Lin Yi's mouth. 2 epic, grade pieces of equipment had been allocated. The legendary hero Nightmare had been summoned. The epic, grade building Abyss Demon Realm had been finished. Most of the rewards from the Beast Tide had now been accounted for. His strength had improved more than in all his previous 3 days of accumulation combined. Yet this was not all. Lin Yi's gaze returned to his system backpack. Tucked deep inside lay another item. A treasure chest shimmering with prismatic light, marked Mystery Grand Prize. This was the ultimate reward for the first kill of the Hell, Grade Beast Tide. Having already obtained so many fine items, Lin Yi could not help but grow expectant of this Mystery Grand Prize. If even a legendary hero and an epic, grade building were merely preliminary rewards, what caliber of treasure would this so-called Mystery Grand Prize contain? Lin Yi took a deep breath, steadying his anticipation. Well then, next, let us see what treasures this Mystery Grand Prize holds. He reached toward the prismatic treasure chest inside his system backpack. Lin Yi's fingers touched the rainbow-hued treasure chest within his system backpack. The air inside the Lord's Manor seemed to freeze for a split second. The moment the chest was pulled out, buzz! Brilliant prismatic divine light burst straight upward. The beam shattered through the roof of the Lord's Manor, painting the whole sky in dreamlike rainbow hues. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. 7 colors intertwined and swirled across the heavens as if a miracle had descended. The entire territory was shrouded in this rainbow radiance. The Silver Moon Elf Tree of Life. Compassion of the Holy Angel. War Altar. Abyss Demon Realm. Every top tier building within the territory resonated at once. One beam of light after another shot skyward from the summits of these structures, interweaving with the rainbow radiance. The emerald, green pillar from the Tree of Life. The pure, white pillar from the Holy Angel statue. The blood, red pillar from the War Altar. The dark, purple pillar from the Abyss Demon Realm. Alongside the ice, blue pillar of the Ice Citadel and the scarlet pillar of the Holy Flame Defense Towers. Dozens of light pillars pierced the sky, turning night into brilliant day. Every unit across the territory halted their activities. Thunder War Gods training in the drill ground froze mid-swing of their warhammers. Patrolling Holy Flame Dragon Guards hovered in mid-air, staring in awe toward the sky. Gray dwarves gathering resources set down their pickaxes and looked upward. Silver Moon Elves mixing potions stepped out of their tree houses, astonished by the celestial spectacle. Even the newly summoned Nightmare showed a flicker of astonishment within its cold, purple vertical pupils. Everyone could sense a vast, indescribable power building at the territory's center. It was the pressure emanating from the Mystery Grand Prize. Ding! Special Treasure Chest. Mystery Grand Prize opening detected. Distributing rewards. The system notification resounded in Lin Ye's mind. The first reward was revealed. Congratulations! You have obtained ×1 basic resource pack. Upon opening, wood ×10,000,000, stone ×10,000,000, fine iron ×10,000,000, food ×10,000,000, gold coins ×10,000,000. Lin Yi raised an eyebrow. Not bad, a nice bonus. He had just received 100 million units of each resource from the Floating Island Lord. So these 10 million counts were little more than pocket change to him now. Better than nothing. Yet he knew this was only the appetizer. The real rewards were still to come. Sure enough, the second reward arrived shortly after. Congratulations. You have obtained Special Territory Building Blueprint. Golden Imperial Hall. Rank, Epic, Grade Special Population Building. Effect 1. Territory Population Cap, plus 1,000. Effect 2. Efficiency of all residential buildings increased by 50%. Effect 3. Recovery speed of all units within territory plus 30%. Lin Ye's eyes lit up instantly. A population building. And an epic, grade 1 at that. What had he been lacking most? Not resources, not equipment, but population cap. He had long been bottlenecked by population limits, unable to mass-produce troops. Constructing the Golden Imperial Hall would grant him an immediate plus 1,000 population cap. It also boosted the efficiency of every residential building, indirectly raising his population further. Add the 30% recovery speed bonus, and both post-battle recuperation and regular training would become far more efficient. Perfect. Lin Yi could not suppress a laugh. My population cap gets another big boost. I can field far more units now. This reward was exactly what he needed. Still, it was not over. The third and final reward slowly manifested as the rainbow light reached its peak intensity. It was a card wreathed in starlit radiance. Countless tiny star points swirled across its surface, as if the entire starry sky had been sealed within it. Merely gazing at it filled one with a sense of personal insignificance. Congratulations. You have obtained Epic, Grade Lord, Exclusive Class Card, Star Envoy. Rank, Epic, Grade. Class Type, Lord Exclusive Combat Class. Core Effect 1. The Lord gains Epic, Grade Combat Power and unlocks the Star Element Skill Tree. Core Effect 2. All territory units receive Star Blessing, permanent plus 15% to all attributes. Lin Ye's pupils narrowed. An Epic, Grade Class card, and it was Lord Exclusive. He did not activate it right away, carefully reading its stats. Plus 15% to all attributes. What did that mean? Every single unit and hero under his command gained a permanent 15% combat boost. This was no temporary buff, it was permanent. All attribute enhancement, attack, defense, speed, health, improved across the board. And that was only its second effect. The first effect was even more extraordinary. The Lord himself would gain Epic, Grade Combat Power. Up until now, Lin Ye's own body had possessed very little fighting strength. Though he owned various pieces of equipment and skills, he paled in comparison to genuine combat-oriented classes. Should he use this class card, he himself would wield Epic, Grade Might. Coupled with the unlocked Star Element Skill Tree, he would become a formidable presence on the battlefield. Lin Yi gripped the Star Envoy class card, his fingers tightening slightly. The Mystery Grand Prize truly lived up to its reputation. Each of the 3 rewards would spark frenzied competition among all players on the server. To ordinary players, the multi-million resource pack represented astronomical wealth. An epic, grade population building blueprint likely had no second copy across the whole server. Not to mention this epic, grade lord, exclusive class card. Its value could not be measured in gold coins. Lin Yi took a deep breath, calming his excitement. Instead of activating the card immediately, he returned to the Lord's manor and sat upon his main throne. Brushing his fingertips over the Starlit card, Lin Yi sank into thought. An epic, grade class. Within the Blue Star server at this moment, it was absolutely one of a kind top-tier treasure. Ordinary players would count themselves fortunate to obtain a gold rank class card. Legendary rank class cards were beyond their wildest dreams. As for epic grade, it would be a lie to say he felt no temptation. If he activated it now, he would instantly gain epic grade power and grant his whole territory plus 15% all attributes. But Lin Yi's gaze drifted toward the system recharge mall. The refresh countdown for all tier gift packs ticked away second by second. The 48-hour refresh timer was nearly complete. He still remembered that the 5 million tier gift pack had yielded Compassion of the Holy Angel, a holy grade treasure superior to epic grade. If the 5 million tier could produce holy grade buildings, what if higher tier gift packs? What if higher tiers contain mythic grade, holy grade, or even classes surpassing holy grade? If he used this epic grade card now, only for a superior class to appear later, he would suffer a terrible loss. Furthermore, a lord could only possess one class. One could not equip a second class card after the first. A single misstep would leave him falling behind permanently. If he hastily took this epic grade class now, he could only watch helplessly if something better appeared in the future. With that thought, Lin Yi reached his decision. No rush. Store it away for now. Wait for the gift pack refresh. He carefully stowed the epic grade class scroll deep inside his system backpack, placing it alongside his life-saving green talisman. These were his most critical hidden trump cards. He had already formulated a plan. If no superior class card appeared in the recharge shop before the start of the all-races newcomer tournament, he would use this epic grade card himself. After all, epic grade power would be more than enough for that trial. Yet if an even better class dropped from the refreshed gift packs, he would place this epic grade class scroll directly on the trading house. Given its rarity, it would fetch an astronomical price. That massive windfall could then fund purchases of higher tier gift packs. Either way, he stood to gain. After sorting through all rewards, Lin Yi rose and walked to the window. Dusk had fallen. The setting sun gilded every building across the territory. So much had unfolded today. The Hell Grade Beast Tide, the floating island lord's inheritance, summoning Nightmare, constructing the Abyss Demon Realm, and opening the Mystery Grand Prize. Even with Lin Yi's stamina, he felt a touch of weariness. He decided against beginning construction work tonight. He would rest for the evening and commence large-scale building and troop production first thing tomorrow morning. Through the Lord channel, he issued orders to his heroes and generals. Nightmare was formally integrated into combat ranks and would begin coordinated training alongside the Thunder War gods starting today. The Abyss Furnace within the Abyss Demon Realm was ordered to start operating immediately. Mountains of monster corpses left behind by the Beast Tide would be fed into the furnace in batches to be refined into Abyss Demon crystals. Selithis was tasked with mastering her newly obtained dual purple and gold flames. Born from the fusion of Holy Flame and Abyss Demonic Flame, this new fire possessed far greater destructive power than her old Holy Flame and required thorough practice. Ariella was to test the combat synergy of Shadow Stealth combined with Lament of the Moon Goddess. With this epic grade necklace, her long-range assassin build should now be fully perfected. One order after another was transmitted. The entire territory began operating in orderly fashion.